All right, everybody, good evening. We are ready to get started at 5 p.m. for a special Fox 10 News Now stream. We appreciate everybody coming to watch as we are starting this stream up at 5 o'clock. Welcome, everybody. And let's start it off. Hello, good evening. Hope everyone is having a great evening. It is 5 o'clock, and it's time for a show, isn't it? So my name is Mike Page. I'll be with you for about an hour, and then Kinsey's going to finish us off this evening. I do have a new way of showcasing the news format that I am premiering something brand new to News Now. This is brand new. Take a look. But before we do that, let's get right now to the top story of the day, that Tempe shooting. Right now. Update, here we go.
Police wrapped up here at the scene just a few minutes ago, but unfortunately it doesn't appear they're any closer to finding the killer. A neighbor called 911 around 9:40 this morning after hearing gunshots.
We just heard a lot of cars coming up, and that doesn't usually happen on the street. So we looked out and saw a bunch of cops.
When police arrived, they found a man dead in an alley near McKellips and Miller in North Tempe. Witnesses reported seeing a Hispanic man in his late teens leaving the scene in a silver car.
That passenger car fled the area around the time that the 911 call came in.
As police moved in, neighbors watched from their rooftops.
I just woke up, heard a bunch of people out here, and decided to come check it out.
Police say their person of interest was seen in a red baseball cap and baggy pants.
At this point, our patrol officers and detectives are doing a neighborhood house-by-house canvass to locate any witnesses.
At this point, police have not been able to figure out a motive for the shooting. However, we're told they were able to identify the victim, but they're not releasing his identity until his next of kin has been notified. As for the killer, police are asking anybody who may be able to help to call him. Tempe Police. Reporting live in Tempe, I'm Andrew Hasbun, Fox 10 News.
Thanks, Andrew. 4 people fired on overnight with a BB gun. Police are looking for whoever did it. It happened near 32nd Street in Van Buren. One of those people was injured, not life-threatening injuries, thank goodness. So far, police have no information on a suspect. Fox 5.
All right, well, I'm glad I was able to get you that top news of the day that we've been following all morning and all afternoon, and most definitely it's going to be all evening, as well as Andrew gave us an update, a fresh new update from the scene there in Tempe. Now, I was saying earlier I wanted to really just showcase a brand new feature for Fox 10 News Now. Are you guys ready? Here we go. There we go. It's a new look for our top rundown. We try to update you every 30 minutes on the top news that we will be covering. And as you can see, we just handled the Tempe shooting. Yes, the Cubs did win, so we are going to be talking about that. I can't believe it. They beat the Cardinals 3-1 in that series. Unbelievable. We'll get to that more. And then everybody's talking about the Democratic debate happening in just a little bit. So we will have an update for you on that. I got a package to showcase you on that as well. And then I got a good, cool little story. Apartment for dogs, made exclusively with dogs in mind. One of the first in the country to do that. And then we're going to close it out with an AZ State Fair all-inclusive guide. So be on the lookout for that, because that starts Friday, and there's a lot of events happening during the AZ State Fair. So we're going to showcase some of that for you, but you got to love our new, tell us how good you like this new rundown here that we are featuring here. It kind of gives you a nice update on what we're going to be focused on and what we're going to be showcasing. So it's a really cool thing that we can update from time to time. Happenings happening right here in the Valley. You don't even have to wait for the AZ State Fair to get that entertainment fix. You could see Florence and the Machine tonight. So lots going on. I do want to update you guys on this crazy weather that we've been seeing. We got a report happening right now. Let's go to it.
An interesting project underway on the border. Take a look at this. Artist
And I
Ana
missed
Teresa Fernandez
Just
and a group
missed
of
it,
30
guys.
other artists and painters
Coming
are
back.
painting the border fence. These pictures of
Sometimes those things happen, but let me put up my new feature there. Boom. Love it, love it. So we're going to showcase a lot of things today. It's going to be a fun show. I'm glad everybody is watching. Rachel, as of right now, it's showing me all green that the stream is healthy. And I think others are saying that. So hopefully, Rachel, you can get that stream to be working for you. But yeah, we're going to go into some stories here now. Appreciate everybody watching. I do want to start that kind of, since we're all going to be talking about the Democrat debate happening in just a little bit, I do have the latest update for you. I'm going to take this off as we get settled. And let me just switch over. Beautiful. We are set up. Here we go. This is the latest on the Democrat debate happening later today.
Everyone on that stage has a different goal tonight. Clinton wants to stop her slide in the polls, Sanders wants to scoop up more votes, and the other three candidates just want to make America know their names. Hillary Clinton comes into this debate as the front runner.
So I wanted to come by and lend my voice to all of yours.
A Fox News poll out today shows that Clinton still has the lead among Democrats with 45% of the vote to Bernie Sanders' 25%. Followed by Biden at 19% if he gets into the race. That's a 16% slide for her.
Debate attacking each other's personality. It's going to be substance.
A White House spokesman says President Obama will probably watch part of the debate, but not all of it because there's some pretty good baseball on tonight. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Wow, that was a perfect setup there to talk about baseball, and we just saw a game wrap up. The Chicago Cubs are advancing to the NLCS. Many of you know I am from Chicago, but I am not happy about this because I am a White Sox fan there, and I got to give it to the Cubs, though. They are running on all cylinders right now. Did anybody see the game? Once again, in 2 games, the Cubs had 9 homers for those 2 games. Unreal. They had 6 yesterday, and then they dinked on 3 more. So, wow. Did anybody see this Cubs game? It's, boy. They're on all cylinders, and it's hard to swallow sometimes when you're a Sox fan, but you got to give it to them. I don't know who's going to win out of the New York Mets and Dodgers. I hope the Dodgers do it. That'd be a great series, I think. Dodgers and Cubs, don't you think? Boy, I think that would be really, really something to see. So you don't know. You don't know. That's the thing about the baseball. It's always great in October. That's it. You know, a lot of people say, "Well, I'm not a baseball fan." Well, you better be in October because it's a really good time. It's the best time to watch baseball. April and October, I like to say. You know, April because it's just the start of the season. Everything is fresh. You're not too burnt out. But then when you get into like June and July, I admit, it's the dog days of summer, and you're just like, this season is so long. It really is a long season. 162 games. Are you kidding me? But that is baseball. Frankie says Dodger Cubs is what I am hoping for too. I think that'd be a great series, and I would hope the Dodgers would take that series. Please, I don't even want to deal with the Cubs in the World Series. I don't want them to get too close there. Isn't that something? I'm from Chicago, and I'm rooting against them, but that's how it is. That north side, south side mentality. You really gotta just give it to them sometimes, but. Let's go. I hope that the Cubs don't get too far. Wow. See, I'm all riled up on this. You can tell I'm all out of sync here. Boy, It really gets you jammed up sometimes. Can't you see I'm just all for a loop right now? See what the Cubs can do to me? It's not good that they're winning. Boy. Sometimes I take it a little too rough. A little too hard. That's all right. It's all right. I do want to showcase, once again, our new style right there. Gotta love it. As you can see, we just talked about the Tempe shooting. Talked about the Democrat debate. Cubs winning, of course. Had to put that in there. Then I got this good little package. Apartment for dogs. I think you're really going to like it. It's different. It's fun. Kind of shakes up the day a little. And once I see the weather report back up, I will hit that live for you because it's really something to see, guys. I'm going to take this down really quick. There's a live tower cam shot. You can see it's 96 degrees at 512, 513, with humidity at 21%. What is going on? What is going on? Boy. I don't know what's going on, everybody. Let me switch this back. Let me flip that. Boom. Got that. Okay, guys. I am now going to take you to the apartments built for dogs. Let's talk about this one after it's completed, guys. This will be great.
The real estate values sort of go up with the quality of the schools. Some of the value of the properties goes up with the closeness to the proximity to dog park.
Roger Lott is the master of finding cool doggy pads. He's sold real estate in the city for more than 30 years. No bones about it. Lott says there are 4 Chicago neighborhoods that put pets first. Number 1, Andersonville.
Lots of dogs, lots of people with dogs that love dogs, and so the businesses sort of cater to that.
Just steps away from the lakefront, Andersonville is near Montrose Dog Beach and Pup Town, one of the city's 23 dog parks.
She loves it. She actually dragged me here today.
Next on the list, Lincoln Park.
The Wiggly Dog Park is the first one in the city. I think that was established in 1997.
It's a great place to live.
Logan Square is the 3rd doggone best place for pets.
This area, the city, at least a 10, maybe an 11.
There's a lot of other dogs, a lot of dog parks, and there's even a couple bars and restaurants that allow dogs.
The properties are a little more spread out, so there's a little more room. We just have the new dog park now.
The 4th and final best neighborhood for dog lovers is the South Loop, home to one of the most impressive dog parks in the city.
That this area per capita has the most dogs in the whole city.
The apartment building that wins 10 paws for canine excellence is K2 in River West.
And it's really luxury living for dogs, actually.
They are catering to dog people and advertising how they have a veterinarian on staff. They do grooming right there. They have the biggest dog run in the city.
What's the worst neighborhood for dog lovers?
I think Streeterville is the worst. One of the reasons it's the worst is that there's just absolutely no green space. It's a concrete jungle.
That's all I can say, folks. I could just put my head down on this. It's like, really? They're building now communities and apartments for dogs. I can't believe it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Is this just going too far now? Are we, as a society, putting all our chips into our 4-legged friends here sometimes? I mean, I can understand, loving your dog and or your cat, but come on. Something's got to give, right? That just seems a little too far out there.
Temperatures starting to fall down to about 90. Soon they should be below that. But today, a whole 8 degrees above the seasonal norm, even warmer than what we saw yesterday. And we weren't that many degrees off from our record. We would have only had to warm up 3 degrees more to tie the old record of 101 degrees. We set that back in 1989. But check this out for tomorrow. This is when our seasonal norm drops down to 89 degrees. Look at the gap here between where we are going to be and where we ought to be. That's over a 10-degree spread. And as we get into Thursday, it's a little bit better, but it's really not until Friday that we see that significant drop in temperature, those numbers up into the upper 80s. With that, some moisture. We're going to see a chance for rain and thunderstorm activity throughout this period, cooling us off and bringing some much needed moisture as well. The national picture is pretty quiet out there tonight. We are seeing a little bit of activity through the Northeast. We'll continue to see some rain there into tomorrow as well, but otherwise pretty mild picture out there. For us in Arizona, we'll see overnight lows like this: 58 Safford, 75 Lake Havasu, 60 for Kingman, 43 Winslow, and 74 for Gila Bend. And then for tomorrow, 100 Phoenix, a little bit warmer than that for Lake Havasu, 78 for the Grand Canyon, 78 for Show Low, and Globe will be at 89 degrees. So for tonight, mid-70s on tap. We'll see triple digits into tomorrow, mostly clear conditions. And then over the next 3 days, gradual cool down. In fact, we could start to see those rain showers as early as Thursday. Better chance, though, it looks like, of getting the rain as we get into your Friday, and that chance for wet weather extending as we make our way into the weekend.
Christy, take a look at this.
Wow, 100 degrees slated for tomorrow. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Wow. I can't sometimes. That is really something. I can't wait for November, though. November, we're in the clear, everybody. That's when Arizona really comes alive. So many events happening. Then you get into January. So many events then. I mean, you got Barrett-Jackson, you got the Phoenix Open, you got so much things happening, and it's just beautiful, beautiful weather. Best in the country. A lot of you are talking about the stream here on... Yeah, we won't be able to show the debate because it is not a Fox property. A lot of you are trying to get a stream working for yourselves. We'd appreciate it if you keep us in mind. As you know, Fox debates will be coming up shortly in the calendar year. We're looking forward to that. Lots going on, though, for the show today. Still a lot to talk about, including why Playboy is really, really changing things up on the magazine. I mean, they are doing some really different things that they haven't done in quite some time. So we'll have that. And, of course, a state fair breakdown. Arizona State Fair starts on Friday. Lots of entertainment, including Bret Michaels, meet. You got a little bit earlier, maybe you didn't see it, though, this burglary that was caught. Update you on that sad story out in Tennessee, the Memphis officer that was killed over the weekend. Let's get into it.
It's the same story.
I had witnessed the suspect show his anger and violence.
But this time, a different outcome.
Mr. Clark had a severe anger problem, and it's a little late now.
Today, Officer Terrence Ulridge is dead. Lorenzo Clark is behind bars in connection with his death, and houses in the neighborhood are riddled with bullet holes. One neighbor says she tried warning police about Clark over a year ago.
I told him, I said, something's going to happen out here on this street.
Neighbor Karen Lax says she's witnessed Clark's anger several times. She remembers Clark's behavior a year ago during an episode with another neighbor's dog.
When I saw how he acted that day, I said, something's going to happen with that man, because he looked like he was ready to kill somebody that day.
She says cops came out but never filed an official report.
There was nothing on file of anything recent of Mr. Clark's anger problem.
Now these streets have 2 less people living among them.
All right, so that was the latest on that tragic story out there in Tennessee. I am going to update you guys, as I'd like to do. I just really want to showcase this new feature that we have here on Fox News Now. You can see the Take this off. Here we go. Look at this. He just said this about 3 minutes ago. We will have fun and hopefully learn something tonight. I will shoot straight and call it as I see it, both the good and the bad. Enjoy. So Donald Trump will be live tweeting this event that is set to kick off in just about 7 minutes. So we're going to be watching this, be watching his tweets, and we'll kind of like live vicariously through that, just in case if people cannot get to watch the event. And we all know that the debates are always better, have more viewership when they are on Fox News. That's a fact. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? Donald Trump live tweeting. Frankie says, what could go wrong? Frankie, we love you. That's why we love that you're in this chat. You guys always offer something great. Sid says, Donald is too funny. I can't take him serious. And once again, everybody, we're coming up on 5:30. We appreciate everybody watching the Fox 10 News Now stream. My name is Mike Paish. Samia was working earlier today. She always starts the day off for us. Kinsey's going to close it out for us. And I'm kind of the middle guy, you know, just filling you guys in as news and updates happen. You got to love it. And we appreciate everybody being part of this stream. You guys are always great to us, and adding your 2 cents in the chat. That's what it's all for. As long as it's, you know, fair and with no profanity, we will take it. We will take it. But once again, Trump, we will be monitoring his Twitter account. As he said, he will be live tweeting this Democratic debate. What could go wrong? He's gonna really add some flair, I think, to this debate. Okay, we're gonna update you on our top story with this Tempe shooting. I do want to show you the raw. I do want to show you. Let me just go here as I switch over. I do want to show you the raw interview that was by the lieutenant, the Tempe lieutenant. That's what I like to do sometimes for you guys, to just show you raw interviews. That's what's so great about news now, is that we have no time constraint. So it doesn't matter if an interview goes 5 minutes or 50 minutes. We're going to show it to you if it's great stuff. So here was this morning in Tempe.
Okay. My name is Scott Smith. I'm a lieutenant with the Tempe Police Department. At approximately 9:30 this morning, the Tempe Police Department received a 911 call of shots fired in the 1100 block of East Bluebell Lane in Tempe. Officers responded and located a victim that had gunshot wounds in the alley in the area of 1100 East Bluebell. Tempe Fire Medical Rescue Department responded to provide medical aid to the injured person with a skinny to light build. Last seen wearing a red baseball hat, a light-colored shirt, and baggy pants. That individual was reported as getting into a silver passenger car. We don't know the make or model at this point, but that passenger car fled the area around the time that the 911 call came in. At this point, our patrol officers and detectives are doing a neighborhood house-by-house canvass to locate any witnesses. We are in the very preliminary stages of this investigation, and so more information will most likely come out later on today. What I have provided you is the most I can provide to you at this point. We are asking that the members of the community or anyone with information contact the Tempe Police Department at 480-350-8311 or 480-WITNESS to report any information that they may think is helpful to the Tempe Police Department to solve this case. The identity of the victim at this point is unknown. The motive for this incident is unknown. Like I said, very early stages, but I wanted to get some information out to you so that you could help us as our media partners get the word out and solicit any information from the community.
All right, so that was earlier today, this morning, at the scene of the incident. Right now, still a suspect or suspects is on the loose of that fatal shooting that happened about 9:40 this morning in Tempe. Coming up on 5:30, we want to update you on some of the top stories as well. The Chicago Cubs pulled out a win today against the St. Louis Cardinals. They advanced to the NLCS. Democrat debate is going on right now. And Donald Trump just put out another tweet, and he's already attacking, folks. Let's go to it. Let's go to it. He's already attacking. Do you guys have any idea on who it might be attacking? Hold on. Here you go. There it is. He's saying the Ivanka
Everyone
Trump.
on that stage has a different goal tonight. Clinton wants to stop her slide in the polls. Sanders wants to scoop up more votes. And the other three candidates just want to make America know their names.
Hillary Clinton comes into this debate.
Sorry, folks. Sometimes those things just play. But here you go. The Ivanka Trump interview tomorrow on CNN will have better ratings than the Democratic debate. Hashtag Trump 2016. He's already firing shots. He's already firing shots, folks. So we will be... Oh, looks like he has another tweet here. And it looks like he just did a retweet here on somebody. He says, somebody tweeted, "My TV is off, Twitter is up, waiting for the real show starring Donald Trump." So, folks, this is going to be some kind of event on Twitter. We're all going to be watching Donald Trump stream very, very carefully. That is just another element of this. Let me just close this out. Let's get set up for another story here. Now, let's have a conversation about this, folks. I mentioned it earlier. A school district in Connecticut is saying bye-bye to Halloween. No trick-or-treating for them in the school. No costume parade. Where's the fun? We're going to play the story and then we're going to talk about it. Boy, it's really something. Here we go.
Costumes through school parades have become tradition. This letter, dated October 9th from the Live Oaks Elementary principal, Rosemarie Marzanato, ruffled some feathers. In it, she wrote, quote, "Halloween parades will not take place in any Milford elementary schools. The decision arose out of numerous incidents of children being excluded from activities due to religion, cultural beliefs, etc."
I'm sure after they vetted out all the issues involved in it that they decided that it was the best decision to make.
Elementary students are also prohibited from simply wearing costumes to school, a decision a third-grade teacher in West Haven can't understand.
I think a lot of pressure is put on these kids at an early age, and there's a lot of learning going on, so one day of fun is not going to really hurt it.
Susan Glennon, the Milford Board of Education president, declined our request for an on-camera interview, but she said, "I need to stress that this was not a board decision. It was between the superintendent of schools and the principals at each of the elementary schools." And she says, "I do encourage the principals to rethink their decision."
It's a choice, to celebrate Halloween. Nobody makes you celebrate Halloween.
John DeRosa, a member of the Milford Board of Education, in a phone conversation today said he and his wife kept their kids home from school during Halloween celebrations because they simply didn't believe in them.
I feel like the holiday's disappearing as well. Kids, you don't see kids trick-or-treating as much as they used to.
DeRosa says the Board of Ed was completely blindsided, having no clue this was even being considered. The superintendent of schools, Betty Fieser, did not respond to our request for comment. There is a Board of Ed meeting tonight at 7, but the public will not be permitted to comment on the Halloween topic because it's not on the agenda. In Milford, Tony.
Let's talk about this, folks. Aren't you just a little sad for this that community there. They're not going to be those kids. You know, that's a fun time for a kid. We all remember that, right? Halloween. It was fun at school. That whole week was fun at school. Parties, exchanging candy with your friends. I mean, that whole moment was great. Sometimes your school had put on a little parade in the hallways with your costumes. Now what's going on? Boy, I think things are changing, and sometimes not always for the better. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this whole no Halloween in that school district in Connecticut. It's really something, isn't it? Rachel was really liking those fall leaves in Connecticut. Yes, they was good. But I feel bad for the kids because I remember I have a great Halloween story, everybody, that I might as well just bring up now. And it tells you a lot about perseverance and just wanting to have fun. I must have been, about 10 years old, okay? I was 10 years old, and I was invited to my very first party. And it just so happened to be a Halloween party. Well, it was after school, and so I got dressed up. I remember what I was that year, too. I was Frankenstein. Okay, so this is back in the city of Chicago. This is a fun story, guys. And I get dressed up, ready for the party. My grandpa takes me to the party. He drops me off at the house. I go up, I ring the doorbell, I'm all excited. It's time for the party. It's time for the Halloween party. And then I ring the doorbell. A man answers, and I say, "Hello, I'm here for the party." All happy and ready for a good time, 10-year-old kid. Gonna paint some pumpkins or bob for some apples, I don't know. What happens? Apparently I'm at the wrong house because the man that answers says, "Nope, there's no party here." Now my grandpa has driven off already. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? 10 years old, I think I'm going to this party, and now I'm at the wrong place. Now there's no cell phone. I don't have a cell phone. And no 10-year-old kid should have a cell phone, even though that they have cell phones now. But that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother rant. It's probably a whole nother stream. But I did want to continue to talk about this story. So what do? You are now stuck. So the guy really offers me no help. I'm like, oh boy. So I go to the next house, the neighbor, and I ring the doorbell, no one answers. It's about 4:30, so still people are probably away or still at work. So I go to 3 other houses, ring the doorbell, nothing. I'm almost in tears now. Figure this, 10 years old, I'm supposed to be at a party, now I'm lost, I don't know where I'm at. I ring this doorbell, a nice lady answers, and I say, "I'm supposed to be at a party, my grandpa dropped me off at the wrong place. Can I use your phone to call them back and get me to the party?" She was the nicest lady, and I'm very, very thankful for her because, I'm just glad she was a nice person. She let me make that phone call, so I called my grandparents' house because my parents were working at that time, so they were at work. Grandparents took care of me during the day. And my grandma answers, and my grandpa is back by then. And I say, he dropped me off the wrong place. And so he came back. And at this point now, it's about an hour and a half we're talking. And I think I'm late for the party, right? The party's already going on. You're a 10-year-old kid. You don't know. And I told my grandpa, I said, "I just want to go home." And he said, "No, I'm going to take you to that party." Remind you, this is my first party. So I'm thinking, oh, the whole thing's blown. I'm late. And no, he was very, very persistent that I go. And I'm so glad that he had me go. because it taught me a lot about things. Just because something happened to you doesn't mean you can't still go to the party or go to an event or whatever in your life may be. So anyway, I go to the party, everyone's there, and the host of the party was really nice. The mom that was throwing the party, she let me catch up on all the activities. You know, I bobbed for my apple, I painted my little mini pumpkin, we played little games, and then we had like a little dance. You know, it was a fun little dance off. 10-year-old kids, really fun. We're playing, I think, Monster Mash, that great song, but you got to love that story, and I still think about it to this day. I thank my grandpa. Every time Halloween comes around, I think about this story. I say, thank you, Grandpa, for pushing me to go to that house, because I did not want to go to the party anymore. I thought it was over. I thought it'd be, I thought everybody would, they'd be wondering, where were you, Mike? And I didn't want to tell them the whole story, but it was my first party, and I'm so grateful that I went. My grandpa's not with me anymore, but I think about that, and I think that's just a great memory that he taught me and instilled in me. Doesn't matter what happened, you can still push through and get to that party and have a blast. And look, it's a memory I'll always remember. And that is my Halloween story. It's a great memory. Love it. And I loved how we just went on that little tangent there, just from a school district in Connecticut, bringing me that kind of memory. You gotta love that. Doesn't matter what happens to you guys. Still at the end of the day, go to that party, right? You could be an hour late, 2 hours late, a day late. Don't worry, just show up. It's going to be all right. People will appreciate that you're there. Yes, you can still go to that Halloween party. And you know what's great? I always still go to the Halloween party up here. It's a fun time. Great memories, great memories. I'll always remember that. Boy, that's a good one. Okay, let's get you set up here. It's coming up on 5:45. Still a lot to talk about. I want to see what the latest now is on our boy Trump and his tweets. Let's see what he's been doing. Are you guys following along too? Here is his latest tweets, everybody. And they're just he's just retweeting people right now and mentioning them. So we're going to be monitoring his stream here, because it should be pretty entertaining. That's the way he described it as. So it should be something. Let me get a sip of my Okay, that felt better. I was getting a little dry mouth from that Halloween story, guys. Wow. Mike D says Trump gained 30,000 followers in the last 30 minutes. He is on a roll here, folks. This is a very smart thing he wanted to do. He wanted to get his name out there by saying and declaring early today that he will be live tweeting this event, this debate. Very interesting. Let me get back to me so I could take this off and get you squared up for another story. I do want to update you guys on the very latest of that missing Nevada student. This is a heartbreaking story. You're going to see the true emotion in this student's family as they are still hoping for the best.
Call anyone that, to get in contact with us.
A distraught mother in Rhode Island is making a plea from thousands of miles away. The last time Jacqueline Thatcher heard from her daughter Diane was on October 5th from a Goleta hotel.
She checked into the Super 8 hotel. She stayed overnight. She called me. She had already checked in. And then she checked out the next day.
Days passed and no one heard from the 23-year-old. All the family knew is that Diane was hoping to connect with high school friends in the Santa Barbara area. Her family filed a missing persons report with the Sheriff's Department on Sunday, October 11th.
We immediately had aviation searched the area where her cell phone was traced. As the day progressed, we realized that her car was actually abandoned by the side of the road.
A black Honda CR-V was found on Hollister Avenue, a few miles from the hotel. The same day Thatcher checked out. The left rear tire was flat. No one knew it belonged to Diane until deputies made the connection on Sunday when the car was finally towed.
At this point, we have no reason to suspect foul play, but we do consider this suspicious.
Diane's cell phone is no longer picking up a signal, but her family continues to hold out hope that she'll turn up and come home.
It's just a terrible thing to go through. I'm just asking, has anybody seen her?
In Santa Barbara, I'm Elise Martinez.
Wow, so very, very hard to watch that, as that family is just really hoping for the best there to get their loved one back. So, boy, a lot of you are really glued in to this debate here. We appreciate you still being part of this Fox News Now stream, even though we know you guys are kind of cheating on us a little bit. We see it. Just joking, everybody. Thought I put that one on there for you. Gotta love it. Got to love it. Well, I do want to showcase for anyone that is coming in. Look at that. That is our new graphic that I just premiered at the start of the hour at 5. And I have been updating you guys this evening. Can't believe the Cubs won. It hurt me a little when I was typing that. I was like, that was hard to type in. That's all right though. So they are going to the NLCS, either playing the Mets or the Dodgers, hoping for the Dodgers. We talked about the apartment complex and communities for the dogs. I'll replay that just in case you guys haven't seen that. Thank you, Billy. That was a really nice comment. And Rachel, thank you once again. You guys are amazing. We're going to get you a little caught up on the AZ State Fair. Just so you know, that is happening on Friday with a ton of activities and events and lots of entertainment and, of course, the food, right? You got to love, like elephant ears and all that and nachos. And so you got to love that. So we're going to update you guys on everything. Don't worry. You're part of the Fox 10 News Now stream, so that means you're going to be updated with news, sports, traffic when it happens, and, of course, entertainment. You know, we got to give you guys entertainment here. We do have an update for you. Let me just hit this off now. See, and then get this ready. Boom. Boom. Okay, I got it. All right. Well, it's happening, everybody. Playboy.
She's been here, socially several times since during the.
This is file video of Playboy, and they are going to stop with their nude photos starting early next year. It's a new change for them. I did read an article earlier today on how Playboy it's not the same as it once was. It used to be this very, very prestigious magazine. It had a lot of content in there as far as news articles and then fashion, but now it's just something of the past. So it's very interesting to see Playboy go this route. But that was one of the top news stories of the day. I'm going to continue to look at Donald Trump's feed here, just so we could get the very latest from Trump, as he says he will be live tweeting. Okay, we do have new tweets in from him. Let me just push that over. This is the very latest from Trump. He says, get rid of all these commercials. And look, it's been retweeted already 1,500 times. Isn't that crazy? Wow. And then he says, Putin is not feeling too nervous or scared. Hashtag Dem debate. That is the official hashtag that people are using. We're going to continue to monitor this, his feed here, and we'll try to get updates as they happen. This is a new way, and we understand that people are watching another stream as well. That's very funny, guys. Thank you, Rachel. Very nice of you. Very nice comment there. What do you guys want to see from the debate today? What do you want to hear about? What do you want to see happen between the candidates? Is a Democratic debate even something that you guys are interested in? Or would you rather have another Republican debate on? Let me know. Let's talk about this, guys. This is the talk of the day. This is the talk of the evening. As we are just watching Donald Trump's Twitter feed here, we will be updating. I just want to see. Okay, it was 1,500 retweets 2 seconds ago. Let's see. Let me just look at that. Now it's up to 2,000 retweets as I refresh that. Unbelievable. Rachel says, I'd like to see Biden just walk up on stage like a boss and join the debate. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? He just comes on in and says, you know what, guys? I'm running. What a platform that would be. The Infamous says, someone who makes sense, like Trump. Mike D says Trump picked up 10,000 in the last few minutes. He's talking about followers. This guy is a machine right now. He's working it so well. Donald Trump, look at this. Even though he's not in the debate right now because it's the Democrat debate, he's still putting his name out there and being relevant. I don't see his competition doing that right now. And that's where they're losing a step in the race, I think. And Billy, I don't think we're running on a time limit for Biden. It's going to look how this debate goes. If Hillary tanks today, I think we're going to see him declare this week or weekend. Just all depends, you know. If she has some crazy momentum, I think he lays low. That's my theory there. Now look, it was 2,000 retweets. Let's see as we update. Look at that, 2,300 now on that retweet count. Unreal. That's the power of social media, and that's the power of having over 4.5 million followers. That is at real Donald Trump, of course. Are you guys excited for this debate? If you're just joining the stream, we do have Donald Trump's Twitter feed up, as we will be looking for live tweets like he declared he would do. This is a new way that we are offering up our streaming services to showcase what is happening in the social world as well as the news world, the sports world, and everything in between. The Infamous says, Democrats bore me. They tend to get nothing done. Tess says, this guy O'Malley is a joke. Okay, we do have a new tweet, everybody. We are going to look at that live. This is a quote from Adam Scott now. If I have the Dem debate on CNN but pay attention more to my phone, does it still count as me watching it? So it seems like the whole country is fixated on this very, very Twitter stream of the Donald Trump, and that's why we are showcasing that to you. We're showcasing these live as they come in. It's the power of Fox 10 News now. We appreciate everybody that is in the stream. Once again, we started at 5 o'clock today, this evening, I should say. Just changing it up a little, showcasing you guys the very best. It's the power of Fox 10 News now. We will get you caught up on the latest headlines starting at 6 p.m. and then dip back into Donald Trump watch on his Twitter account. So don't you guys worry, we're going to get you guys up on the very latest, including the very latest on that Tempe shooting, the very latest at the NAU walk that they had earlier this afternoon, a walk of support for the victims. Also, the Cubs did win. And we're going to, in a little bit, show you the very latest on what you can expect from the AZ State Fair happening this weekend. So lots happening as we continue to monitor Donald Trump's Twitter feed. Billy says America cannot fix the climate issue alone. Why does Bernie not know this? So we are still waiting for more updates from Donald Trump. I thought he'd be doing more live tweets, more updates. Didn't you guys think? Yes, Rachel, lots of entertainment there at the fair. What a showcase they are going to have. Guys, we're going to update you at 6 o'clock on the very latest, thanks to the power of Fox 10. We have a new tweet here. It's a mention that he showcased. Good luck commenting on the snooze fest. I'm out. So people are already upset on how slow this is happening of this debate. It's coming up on 6 o'clock. Don't worry, guys. We're going to get you updated on the very latest thanks to Fox 10. Gotta love Fox 10 as the best in the Valley. Absolutely the best in the Valley. Our team is great. Our team has been here together for a while. That shows you how good of a station this is when you have so many people working here 15, 20 years, 30 years. If you're Dave Muncy, 40 years. That means the station's doing something right. You absolutely know it. It's Fox 10. It's the power of Fox 10. And we know that that's one of the reasons why you love this stream and you love interacting with us, because it's a great brand. It's a great time to share news, share sports updates, share everything that's happening really in the world. And we can do that for you. That's what we do. Here we go. We're going to update you on the very latest in news.
Far too soon, but your memory will live on in the hearts of your friends and family. Your life has impacted the lives of many, not only of those who knew you, but the entire NAU community.
A big gathering tonight on the NAU campus where students and faculty come together to support one another in the wake of last week's deadly shooting there. Police in the East Valley on the hunt for a killer after a man's body is found in an alley. New information tonight about a passenger jet shot down over Ukraine, the investigative findings. Plus, Arizona Cardinals backup quarterback Drew Stanton returns to his high school, how he's helping football players stay safe on the field. And we'll check in with young people camped out in downtown Phoenix for a big concert tonight. Good evening again, everyone. First on Fox tonight at 6 o'clock, a unity walk held this afternoon on the campus of Northern Arizona University, days after police say a freshman student opened fire on 4 fraternity members after a fight, killing one of them. Fellow students and faculty came together to remember the young man who died, Colin Brew. 3 other young men, Nick Prado, Nick Peering, and Kyle Zantek, they survived their wounds. Fox 10's Nicole Garcia has more tonight from Flagstaff.
The events began with a solemn and silent procession through the NAU campus. Members of the Delta Chi fraternity, which is the fraternity that the shooting victims belong to, led that procession with thousands of NAU students joining them along the way. The crowd ended up here at the Old Main, and it was really a chance for the lumberjack community and the NAU community to come together, not only to mourn the loss of Colin Brew, who was shot and killed 4 days ago, but for the community to show their support for the surviving victims and for NAU as a whole. This is really their chance to help each other cope and move forward through the tragedy. Several school administrators and school leaders spoke during the short program, highlighting the strength of the NAU community.
The tragic events of last Friday have left us all in a state of shock. Our hearts go out to the students who were involved and their families. Their lives will never be the same, and for that, I am deeply saddened.
We have hundreds of NAU graduates that are employees of the city of Flagstaff. We love our NAU students. And when NAU is hurt, and NAU grieves, so does the city.
And one of the faculty members who spoke, I think, pretty much summed up the feeling here when he said, quote, "We can't go back and change what happened, but we can go forward and change who we are." In Flagstaff, Nicole Garcia, Fox 10 News.
The accused gunman, Stephen Jones, booked on counts of first-degree murder and aggravated assault. He is held on a $2 million cash bond. A Phoenix man is under arrest in the cold case killing of a rival furniture salesman more than 2 decades ago in Ohio. 67-year-old Sam Peroni is back in that state after waiving extradition. Tonight, he's facing a murder count. Investigators say that he shot and killed 41-year-old Richard Woods back in 1992 in the back of one of Peroni's former furniture stores. Detectives found the victim's body a month later in a wooded area. Police in Tempe tonight working to develop leads in the death of a man whose body was found this morning in an alley. Fox 10's Andrew Hasman has been on this story all day. He has more tonight.
Police have been out here all day, and they are still out here now. You can see some of the evidence markers on the ground leading to the alley where the shooting happened. A neighbor called 911 around 9:40 this morning after hearing gunshots.
We just heard a lot of cars coming up, and that doesn't usually happen on the street. So we looked out and saw a bunch of cops.
When police arrived, they found a man dead in an alley near McKellips and Miller in North Tempe. Witnesses reported seeing a Hispanic man in his late teens leaving the scene in a silver car. As police moved in, neighbors watched from their rooftops.
I just woke up, heard a bunch of people out here, and decided to come check it out.
Police say their person of interest was seen in a red baseball cap and baggy pants.
At this point, our patrol officers and detectives are doing a neighborhood house-by-house canvass to locate any witnesses.
Police have identified the victim, but they're not releasing his identity until they've notified his next of kin. They're asking anyone who may be able to help find the shooter to call police. Reporting in Tempe, I'm Andrew Hasman, Fox 10 News.
New information tonight about a Phoenix man accused of decapitating his wife and 2 dogs this past summer. According to newly released police reports, Kenneth Wakefield told officers he was hearing voices when he killed Trina Heisch, saying he was, quote, doing it for God and the end of the world to be peaceful. Investigators say he was high on methamphetamine and synthetic marijuana at the time. They say Wakefield also ripped out one of his eyes and cut off one of his arms. Police say he told them he killed his wife during a fight after he killed one of their dogs. Records show the couple met at a mental hospital where they were serving time for the stabbings of relatives. Heisch left the facility in 2012. Wakefield was released earlier this year. He's pleaded not guilty to murder. No word on whether he will seek an insanity defense. Caught on camera, Marana police are searching for a man who stole a woman's wallet right out of her purse and used her credit cards. A pretty common crime. They say this man stole the wallet at a Fry's grocery store on Sunday morning and then went to a Walgreens, a Quick Trip, and tried to use those credit cards to buy cigarettes and gift cards. Police say he was seen in a 1987 white and gray Toyota Tercel station wagon, possibly driven by a second suspect. If you have any information, call Marana Police. More than a year after that Malaysian Airlines disaster over Ukraine, Dutch investigators confirm that a surface-to-air missile did bring down that passenger jet, killing hundreds of people on board. While it's unclear who fired the Russian-made missile, many suspect it was Russia's work. But the Dutch Safety Board says Ukraine should have shut down airspace over that conflict area, which would have prevented the tragedy from taking place. Carrie Lake has more tonight.
This reconstructed part of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, a powerful reminder of the deadly conflict in Ukraine. The Dutch Safety Board announcing the result of its investigation into the plane's demise in front of the badly damaged wreckage. Investigators say a Russian-made warhead detonated less than 4 feet from the front of the plane.
The forward part of the airplane was torn off. The airplane broke up in the air.
Those in the cockpit died instantly. Some of the passengers may have remained conscious, but were probably not completely aware of what was happening as the plane plummeted.
It looks as though that's we found out like 298 people didn't suffer.
The report did not place blame, but it did identify a 124 square mile launch zone. Ukrainian government data shows the area was under separatist control at the time.
There is no doubt that drunk separatists do not know how to operate BUK systems. It means those systems were operated by professional Russian servicemen only.
The Obama administration also believes the missile came from separatist land.
Our sympathy and thoughts remain with the family and friends of the MH17 victims.
Russia denies it's supporting rebel fighters in Ukraine, and the BUK system makers say that their investigation shows that if it was a BUK system that downed the plane, then it came from Ukrainian-held territory. Carrie Lake, Fox 10 News.
After undercover videos recorded at Planned Parenthood that critics say show the organization sells fetal parts for profit, Planned Parenthood says it will no longer accept payments for fetal tissue made available for research. Planned Parenthood says those videos were highly edited and deceptive. Critics disagree. They say it's pretty much what goes on. And they say that it was only reimbursed, Planned Parenthood does, for the costs of its fetal tissue program, that women who get abortions are legally allowed to donate. Planned Parenthood says the fetal tissue program only takes place in California and Washington state and that it will no longer accept payments to cover those costs. The group maintains it has done nothing wrong. Planned Parenthood has been the target now of congressional investigations, and many lawmakers want to defund the organization because of those videos. And any abortion activist who led the undercover video effort calls the group's move today an admission of guilt, saying, quote, if the money Planned Parenthood has been receiving for baby body parts were truly legitimate reimbursement, why cancel it? And Republican Tennessee Congresswoman Diane Black says, quote, it is curious that while Planned Parenthood officials maintain there has been no wrongdoing, they still find it necessary to change their policy. Clearly, this was a decision motivated by optics rather than the organization's conscience. Still ahead tonight at 6, Arizona Cardinals backup quarterback Drew Stanton giving back to his old high school, how he's helping teen football players stay safe on the field, and why Donald Trump will once again appear on NBC months after the network severed ties with the Don.
All right, that's...
You didn't tell me you were coming.
Oh, yeah? Kinsey.
I thought you were going to do a VO.
Oh, no VO. We always take it. We always take camera full here. Okay, well, Kinsey's going to be, she's all set. She's on deck. You're literally on deck.
You're at a 10? I need you at a 6.
I know. So Kinsey's ready to jump up here, and everybody in the chat room is just talking about debate.
Well, we'll get back into the debate once I fix I'll get my computer set up, and we'll dive back into those Donald Trump tweets. And
Yeah, so guys, give us a couple minutes here. We're going to regroup and just reformat the whole show. Kinsey time. Have a great evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow at a special time, 11 a.m. How do you like that?
Fire chief says Leggio and Mesh had just pulled 2 people from the second floor of the building when a wall collapsed on them. The cause of the fire is under investigation tonight. All new at 6, firefighters in 8 California counties have new eyes in the skies thanks to smoke detection cameras on the tops of tall peaks. They're kind of like the ADOT cameras, think of them that way, that monitor Arizona's freeways and highways. Fox's Claudia Cowan has a story tonight.
When Northern California firefighters study the worst-case scenario, they pull out the map of Marin County, just north of San Francisco, home to 250,000 people and a lot of open space at high risk for a catastrophic wildfire. But now these first responders have new eyes in the sky, spotting for smoke 24/7.
Each one of these frames represents a view from a camera from one of the different sites.
Mounted at fire department lookouts and equipped with special software, the cameras can detect smoke in places people can't easily see. The computer technology, developed in South Africa, analyzes the images every 4 minutes, a critical tool when seconds count.
We need to know as soon as possible when there's a fire. The sooner we can get resources on that fire, the sooner we can get it out, and the sooner we can keep it from spreading.
It's been 20 years since the Vision fire scorched 12,000 acres along the coast of Marin, and this summer dozens of wildfires caused death and destruction across the drought-stricken West. Some were sparked by downed power lines or faulty electrical equipment, which is why California's main utility, PG&E, has spent $2 million to install 28 cameras in 4 northern counties, along with servers ready to alert dispatchers at the first sign of smoke.
If we get that spark on a windy day in Marin, it's going to be disastrous. And hopefully we won't need them, but we're ready.
And because the whole system is internet-based, firefighters can use their smartphones to see the fire and how it's behaving as they're driving to it. Just a huge advantage that didn't exist a year ago, thanks to these cameras. In Woodacre, California, Claudia Cowan, Fox News.
Arizona Cardinals backup quarterback Drew Stanton making a stop at his old high school in Michigan and making sure that the kids on the football team stay safe on the field. This was a nice gesture, stopping by Harrison High in Farmington Hills to give the players equipment that will prevent internal injuries. That equipment is called the Evo Shield. It's an abdominal protector to protect the players' internal vital organs. This is in partnership with the Taylor Haugen Foundation. We've got more information about the foundation on fox10phoenix.com. NBC, you'll remember, severed ties with Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump over remarks he made about Hispanic people. Well, now he is going to be back with the network next month. Trump will host Saturday Night Live on November 7th. He's expected to pull in boffo ratings. The last time he hosted the show was back in 2004. Democrat Hillary Clinton appeared on SNL's season premiere that year on October 4th. So it's all, we're gonna get all these guys. Still ahead tonight, Christy Siefke with a look at the forecast when we come back. As we look right now at rural US 60, looking westbound, I think. Lights are on, sun going down, traffic moving well. That's a good thing. Also ahead tonight, be sure to follow us on Instagram. Share your images using the hashtag Fox10Phoenix.
Your exclusive Fox 10.
Hi all, Kinsey here. We're taking a look currently at Donald Trump's Twitter feed, which has been active throughout the evening. Let me see here. I'm going to put me in the corner. Donald Trump's Twitter feed, which has been active throughout the evening because of the CNN debate. There are likely more people watching this Twitter feed than the debate on CNN. I would project. A lot of names I personally haven't heard of, and I think we're pretty clued into politics here. Oh, we got a new tweet. Why do we have to be tortured by watching these clowns have the election tomorrow? Trump 2016. Yes, Trump is retweeting a lot of love that he is getting from the viewers in typical Trump fashion. I know that I have, and I'm going to have to find it, but I know that I have a... Oh, this is going to be difficult. How do I do this? I have a debate, or I have a video of Martin O'Malley. Because again, this is the first time we're hearing from a lot of these people. This is the first time we're seeing some of these people. And I know I have a video from Martin O'Malley from Friday that I'd love to be able to bring you today. Because it's him, in a different environment, actually getting to talk a lot more open, a lot more freely than he is likely today at the debate. And I'd like to bring you that. Hopefully I have that here for you. Oh, I see it. Oh no, that's John Kasich. Oh no. We have a new tweet. These cats are like bad used car salesmen. Man, today's the day. If you want to get in front, if you want to have some Twitter followers jump up, or if you want to increase your Twitter following, I would suggest tweeting Donald Trump something that's flattering towards him, critical of the Democratic Party, get a retweet, get in front of his audience. Everybody's watching this feed right now. That is what I would advise. But what I am doing, oh, here, let's go back here really quick.
Big concert happening tonight in downtown Phoenix. Fans have been camping out, in fact, for days to see it. 21 Pilots will perform tonight at Comerica Theater, our next door neighbor here, and we've been watching this whole spectacle unfold outside. They will perform along with Echo Smith and Finish Ticket. Fans say they have no problem camping out to see this show.
I was actually the first person to ever camp out for a 21 Pilot show in May in 2014. They mentioned me in a tweet at one point. So it's just become like a fun thing to see like a lot of people gather together for one show.
I want to be right at the front, get close to everything, the action, the band members, like the energy up there. So if I camp out, I get to go in first, and then simple as that, you get the best spot.
Did that guy come from the land down under to see this show?
It's a hardcore fan that came all the way.
Well, the show starts at 7 tonight. Christy.
Your exclusive AccuWeather forecast.
Unfortunately, I don't know if I can get there in time. I don't know. The show ends here 6:30.
Yeah, you
I maybe
do have
could
some
sneak in.
Pressing business here tonight.
I do have some pressing business. Heat, rain, wind, a little bit of everything. Not together. It's going to be separate events.
So this is going to finally break here.
It is going to break.
Hold
on just a couple more days, and then we're going to see some cooler numbers, guys. I know it's been a while. It doesn't feel like fall. In fact, we're still in the 90s out there tonight. The wind's a little breezy at 10 miles an hour, and this rotation off the coastline, that's partly to thank for that warm air that's getting evected into the state. High pressure, of course, in the picture as well. But this low is actually going to bring us cooler conditions as well. Once it gets through California over to Arizona, that's when we're going to start to see some activity in terms of rain showers. Dew points out there still pretty high across those lower deserts, 50s and 60s. So it feels a little stickier out than we usually expect this time of year since we're done with monsoon. And we're seeing numbers that are very warm in many spots still. 91 Casa Grande, 96 into Yuma, 95 for Bullhead City. A little cooler up into northern Arizona. We're seeing about 69 for Window Rock. Here in the valley, we're seeing really a mix of numbers out there right now. 93 for Chandler, 92 for Scottsdale, 93 for Luke Air Force Base, and Buckeye currently sitting at 91 degrees. And as we get to the middle of the month, normal temperature should be dropping actually to the upper 80s. Today, norm's 90. We came in 8 degrees above that. The record for today at 101. And tomorrow, we could be tying a record if we do, in fact, make it to 100 for this day in October. We start to cool down a bit, and then we start to see that system move in. It's going to bring us rain showers throughout that late week into the weekend period. So cool things down, bring us some much needed moisture. Speaking of moisture, there's not a whole lot of it out there across the country tonight. Pretty calm conditions with the exception of this cold front that's continuing to bring some rain to parts of the Northeast. Otherwise, things are looking pretty good out there. Overnight temperatures will cool down to the low 60s in Globe, 75 for Lake Havasu, 60 for Kingman, 37 for Flag, and 34 for Window Rock. We'll see 74 for Gila Bend, and then tomorrow 100 for Gila Bend, 101 Yuma, same for Lake Havasu. We'll see 90s for Kingman, upper 80s for Globe, low 80s for Window Rock, and mid 80s for Winslow. So tonight we'll look at partly cloudy conditions out there. 75 will cool down to overnight, back on into those triple digits tomorrow, and then as early as Thursday we could start to see some rain in our forecast. Looks like Friday an even damper day. You'll want to have the umbrella handy for that, and then that chance of rain continuing into the weekend.
I'm with Greenbrier Resort. Now you're saying, okay, well, what are you doing here? Well, it's the home of the 1979 Ryder Cup and the current location for the PGA's Greenbrier Classic. And by the way, it's the home this week for your Arizona Cardinals. And we'll take a little connection there right after this.
Let's get Donald Trump's tweets back up. And I did find my Martin O'Malley video, so let me pull that right now for you. Seems like a lot of debate in the chat room in regards to this debate. Happily says, yeah, speaking of Baltimore, O'Malley, you know that city that you were mayor of before you were governor? It ranked in the top 10 of crime states. Why don't you tweet that to Donald Trump, Happily? Because he seems to be tweeting all of the really good, but you also have to add a compliment in the tweet, and then you might get a retweet. Baltimore is number 5 in murder rate, says Happily. Thanks, Halala. Thank you for trying to make it. I appreciate it. But let's Let me find this video of O'Malley. Ooh, his press release or his events are not as pretty, not as fancy as some of the other events that we have seen in this political world. Not watching the debate, just your tweets, says that one. Too funny. Oh, wow. Just seeing how long this Martin O'Malley video is that I have for you. Who's talking to press here? And so we'll play a little bit of this so you can get a sense of who he is, minus the sound bites and the probably animosity that's going on in a debate like this one. Wonder how much of this I can show you.
Now through FaceTime, we're connecting with the Cardinals. Yeah, it's their home this week. Not that far from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Kerwin-Williams, by the way, will play Le'Veon Bell and the practice squad when they start workouts tomorrow. This is also the training facility right next door for the New Orleans Saints. It is a beautiful resort, a chance for this team to bond, connect, focus, and look ahead to Sunday's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got just about everything there, from golf to bowling to plenty of relaxation. As for Kerwin-Williams, running back for the Cardinals, his description of this week's stay in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia.
We're at the Greenbrier. I guess it's White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. I guess the best way to describe it is really green. I guess there's not much to do around here. It's kind of isolated, but it's cool.
More to come from West Virginia throughout the evening. Let's take it to Chicago Wrigley Field. What a game.
We're not allowed to look at sports stuff here on Fox 10 News Now, so I am going to minimize out of that. I want to show you some of this Martin O'Malley stuff. I want to put it in the corner so you can see. I wonder if there's any other way for me to do these videos at the same time, because I need one source to do it. Mike says in the chat that Bernie's actually tearing down Hillary. I'd actually love to see some of that. I'll have to catch it later. Now we have to find out how I do this video, because I want to play it for you, and I don't know how. Perhaps I put it behind. I'm going to show you me just for a second. I don't see a Donald Trump tweet coming up, so I'm going to show you me just for a second while I try to figure this out. I'm going to play Martin O'Malley for you. Let me see if I can hear it. Okay, so it sounds like Martin O'Malley is coming out right now. And I'm going to try to figure out how I can show you both of those things.
Thank you. Awesome to be with you. Thanks for doing that. Senator, how's life treating you? Very good. Very good. Hi.
Stephanie.
The secretary.
No, I'm vice president.
Vice president, excuse me.
Both local.
Cool. Dan, how are you, man? Good to see you, Representative.
Best county in Iowa.
It's good to be back. Thank you. Is this our press table here? Partially. Good to see you all. Thanks for patience. I apologize if I kept you if I delayed our start here.
Shall I introduce you?
I guess so. Sure.
Is that how it's works? Well, first of all, I'll introduce myself. I'm Senator Chaz Allen. I represent Jasper County and the eastern part of Polk County. I was a former mayor here in Newton. Went through the Maytag transition, and I want to introduce Governor O'Malley. And there's some things that are impressive about Governor O'Malley. Is he's two-term governor. One of the things I really Maryland was the #1 in entrepreneurship and innovation as he was governor. And also they led the schools in #1 across the nation while he was governor. That used to be an Iowa title. We're going to fight for that back, but we certainly want to get that back. But the most impressive thing, I believe, is that he was a mayor. I, too, was a mayor, so I know a mayor has answered a phone at 2 o'clock in the morning because the snow wasn't off the streets yet. So you have to... and then, being the mayor of Baltimore, he was named the best manager in government today. So I want everybody to welcome Governor O'Malley, and thanks for being here.
Hey, Senator, thanks a lot, man. Thank you. Thanks very, very much. Shall we go around the table? Just everybody kind of introduce themselves? Senator, thank you for your introduction. Once a mayor, always a mayor.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a great story about this famous hunting dog mayor. I'll tell you afterwards. Yes.
I'm Stephanie McCumber. I'm the UAW Local 997 Vice President, along with I work at Progress Industries, which is one of our amalgamated, and I'm a I'm a steward there as well, and then I'm the West Central CAP recording secretary and planning on running for Iowa CAP this couple weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, my name is Max Tipton. I'm retired from the International Union staff, the United Auto Workers. I've been retired 16 years and enjoying every bit of it.
I'm Doug Bishop. I serve as the county treasurer here in Jasper County, and I also serve as board president of the Jasper County Economic Development Corporation. So trade and jobs are big issues for us around here.
Hey, great. Well, look, I want to thank all of you for taking time, and it's good to be back. And Senator, thank you again for your introduction. And Dan Kelly, good seeing you. Representative Kelly, thanks for all your kindness. And so I wanted to share some thoughts with you, and I wanted to, and Taylor Vanderkraal, our county chair. Good to see you, Taylor. Thanks for coming, man. Now, I just wanted to share some thoughts with you. We are a few days away from having our first Democratic presidential primary debates at long last, and no doubt the biggest issue on the table of our democracy is how we get wages to go up rather than flatlining. Thanks to President Obama's leadership, our country's doing a lot better than we were. We're creating jobs, positive job creation month over month. The challenge, though, is that most people aren't feeling that because wages have gone stagnant compared to where we were 12 years ago. 70% of us are earning the same or less than we were 12 years ago. And all of this is happening at the same time that there's much greater availability of labor throughout the world. We're part of a global economy. And that has all of us, I think, rightly asking the questions, well, what is the right mix of policy choices we need to make so that we get the bounce back in our step? Because the promise that's at the heart of the American dream and how our country is supposed to work is that wherever you start, but through your own hard work, you should be able to get ahead. And I wanted to come here to talk about specifically a very important issue, and that is trade. And what constitutes good trade for us, namely the U.S., and what's bad trade. And I know that some of you probably have stories from the jobs that were here in Newton with Maytag before NAFTA went through. We were promised in NAFTA that we'd get all sorts of great benefits, from knocking down barriers to trade, and everything would be terrific, and we'd be net winners in this. We didn't have a trade deficit with Mexico before NAFTA. Now I believe it's a $100 billion trade deficit with Mexico. So, and look, I'm a believer that we should recapitalize and reauthorize the Export-Import Bank. We should be selling our goods. We should be selling our produce, our commodities, all around the world. We need to be engaged in trade. It's a big, growing market out there. While the labor force of the world's increased, so have the consumers in the world, and the middle class is growing in many other countries. So we need to sell to them. But I'm very concerned and came out opposed to this Trans-Pacific Partnership deal, and I did so 8 months ago for a couple of reasons. One, the cruel experience of NAFTA should tell us that if they try to fast-track another trade deal, make our representatives in Congress vote for it before the rest of us are allowed to read it, then it's probably not a good deal for most of us. I mean, my goodness, they can hardly ever, sometimes they can't even agree to keep our own government open, but they can fast-track another one of these trade deals. The second thing about the process is that the people that were allowed to negotiate it were all the captains of industry and corporations negotiating in secret. You didn't see many labor interests represented there. You didn't see environmental interests. You didn't see workers' interests there. So someone might have been the last time I was here, asked me what I believe a good trade deal is for the country. I believe good trade deals for the United States are trade deals that actually raise standards for workers and raise standards and protections for the environment. Bad trade deals are those that lower standards for the environment and lower standards for workers. And one of the insidious things that's contained in the Trans-Pacific Partnership is these tribunals that they create so that multinational corporations can actually turn around and sue a country because its standards for workers or its standards for environment are costing them money on their bottom line. Look, I believe that our economy isn't money. Our economy is people. It's all of our people. And there are certain things that we know. They worked for 40 years. My father's generation created an economy that worked for all of us, where everybody could get ahead. Whatever level of income you start at, you could get ahead. And a few of the basics that they always did was we had wage and labor policies at the center of our equation. So we never allowed the minimum wage to dip below the poverty level. People that work 40 hours a week should be able to feed their families and not live in poverty. We also made investments in our own country. Nobody else is going to do that for us but us. And now what you see is investments in whether it's affordable college or infrastructure or research and development. Those have fallen to a lower percentage of our national income than we've seen in 50 years. But a third thing that we understood was that we need to stop stumbling backwards. I think we need to realize that while we should be engaged in trade, that's not a substitute for doing those other things. And I think sadly some of us, even some Democrats, have come to the conclusion that, well, maybe if we make it easier, maybe if we make trade easier, that somehow that'll make jobs come back. Didn't happen with NAFTA. We've got to build our own economy, and we've got to take advantage of new technologies. I was on the way here. I was running a little bit late, but I was passing one of those big tractor trailers that had the giant component part in it for the windmills. I mean, 30% of your energy. 4,000 people employed in an industry where the parts are too damn big to make any sense to import them from China. So you got to manufacture them here. That's what we need to be about. And so I've laid out today a proposal and a framework for what a progressive trade agenda would look like. And it would have the following elements. First of all, be much more open and transparent and democratic about these things. If it's good for us, we should be able to read it before Congress has to vote on it. And the second thing is there is no, and it's always hard to talk about this thing because we still haven't been able to see the whole thing yet. But there is no chapter in here about currency manipulation. And that is where other nations manipulate their currency, devalue, in essence, their currency in order to make their goods cheaper for export. And that's cost us a lot of jobs in our country. China did that with or without this trade deal. Japan's done it quite a few times. And in these trade deals, if we're going to give countries preferential treatment to sell their products here in the United States, we should demand that they not engage in currency manipulation. And if they do, we should set up a mechanism in these agreements that polices that enforces that, so that we can hold cheaters accountable. The third aspect of this is that I'm opposed to these things. They call them the investor-state dispute settlement provisions. And this is where the multinationals can sue us in order to evade our regulations and actually recover from us if by having those higher regulations and protection of labor and the environment, we cost them money on their bottom line. I don't think it's right, and I don't think we should have those in these agreements. Another difficult thing, we say this at a UAW hall, one of the signers of this is Vietnam. I mean, we hope to put past scores behind us. We hope every nation develops. But right now, we allow people to join labor unions. Vietnam doesn't even allow people to join labor unions in Vietnam, and yet we're about to open our markets to them when they don't even have collective bargaining in their country. We should guarantee the right of free association for all workers, because our cause is the rise of a global middle class, and not making it easier for corporations to chase the cheapest labor they can, wherever they can, just to boost their bottom line. I mentioned the environmental, so I won't go over that again. But there's also some concerns in here that some of this might kick the door open if we have a Republican president to big mega banks and Wall Street interests being able to evade Dodd-Frank by using that ISDS mechanism. So we should provide for fair access to markets. I am in favor of capitalism. I believe it should be fair, though. And a couple other things I'll leave to our discussion. But those are some of the frameworks that I intend to lay out. I didn't come out opposed to the Trans-Pacific Partnership just on the eve of a debate either. And I didn't do it because the polling told me to do it. I came out against it 8 months ago because I thought it was not in the best interest of our country. And that's what we need to have in our economic priorities and in the leadership of the Office of the President. It should be about us. It should be about our principles as a people and what's best for our economy. So I'd love to hear any of your thoughts or any of your stories, Mayor, if you remember Newton before Maytag and what happened after.
Well, I remember, and what you say about wages is correct. And anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know our recovery has been, with the wind energy we've increased the tax base. Where Maytag was, we're there again from a tax base perspective. We're also there, we've created the last jobs that have left, 1,700 jobs were out at the last. We've created 1,700 jobs. Where we're short.
For what period of time?
It would have been over, 2007, 5 years basically, over the last 7 years. But where we're short is the Maytag wages haven't been gotten back. Those people that used to work, a family, a mother and father would work 2 shifts, $19, $20 an hour. We're not there. Now we're $14 and $15 an hour.
And not
so that's
really the insurance.
And then you talk about the insurance. So that's where it is. I think when you talk about the tax base and the recovery, I think, from that standpoint, hey, good deal. But it's our people that are working, 2 jobs to make this work. They're not making what they used to make. So you're right on the wage issue. And these aren't minimum wage; these are good paying jobs, but they were better before.
What were you saying about the insurance? Was it even health insurance?
Well, with negotiations, Maytag had much better insurance, and even in our unit right now, as we have 6 units, Progress Industries has the best insurance of all of our units negotiated, and there's not really any other coverage that anywhere around here, or even we have better insurance than John Deere, where we get 90% of our health care taken care of. We pay a 10%. Our co-pays are $4 and $8. I mean, we may not make as much, but it covers up our insurance, which for some of us, that's pretty good when you have to go to the doctor 3 or 4 times a year for checkups for certain things and stuff like that.
Did you all see for any of you that have memories of NAFTA, were there people back before NAFTA went through who were saying this is going to happen? I mean,
I remember
Ross Perot's hat.
He said there's going to be a sucking sound.
Right. The huge sucking sound.
We all laughed at him.
Well, I remember the
exactly
shirt.
Right. He was exactly right. Going back to Maytag, prior to Whirlpool is a dirty name as far as I'm concerned. But prior to Whirlpool, Maytag was a very, very wealthy corporation. They knew how to make money. They knew how to make the best product on the market. They had a dedicated workforce. They never had a turnover in the workforce like a lot of corporations have. And because of they were very wealthy, we was able to negotiate good wages and good benefits along with the retirees as well as the active employees. And then come to Whirlpool, when they terminated the retirees' insurance, which had been paid for over the years by the employees. I was a part of that. I worked at Maytag prior to becoming president of the local and going on the international union staff. But when Whirlpool eliminated the retirees' insurance, Chaz was mayor, and he put together some numbers by taking out the paid insurance for retirees in the city of Newton. Newton lost over $1 million income if each retiree had to pay a premium of $200. Took out a little over $1 million income out of the city of Newton.
Out of your discretion, out of what people otherwise would have been putting into the economy.
Absolutely. And then
I'm going to check that real quick.
And there was a lot of retiree surviving spouses. And I was a part of negotiations.
It was $7 million.
$7 million?
It was 3,000 retirees. No. I knew the number was bigger than that because it was, if it was $600,000 a month, those retirees that were now paying $200 a month for that. So it took $7.2 million out of our economy here in Newton. We're using 3,000 retirees and then the $200 a month that they were
What's
now.
the total population in Newton? Like
15,000. 15,000. But that was. We met at Snooks, so I can tell you that, so make sure you knew.
But anyway, that whole fiasco ended up in the courts. And Maytag had paid retirees insurance since 1967. In every labor agreement that we negotiated with Maytag, we carried the language forward that Maytag would furnish fully paid insurance for retirees and spouse. And when we got into court, the gentleman who was the administrator of the Maytag benefits program for 40 years was on the Whirlpool's list of people who had knowledge of the issue. They never did call him as a witness. When our attorneys attempted to call him as a witness, the judge wouldn't let him testify. Now here's a guy that was 40 years had administered the benefit program for the Maytag Corporation, and the judge wouldn't let him testify. Well, let me tell you about the judge. He was recommended by Chuck Grassley and appointed by Old Man Bush. Now, that tells me something, whether it tells anybody else or not, but it tells me that...
Tells me he's not filling out a commit to caucus for O'Malley Club.
It tells me the whole system, which we already knew, is rigged against working people. And the same way with these trade deals. That's what you're here to talk about. We always end up getting the dirty end of the stick on every trade deal that comes down the pike. And I didn't know until I read your document that of all the violations of all the trade deals, the United States has never submitted a challenge. That I did not know. And that's really disappointing to read that.
Yeah, we never follow up. It took us 40 years to even file suit, I think, against, was it Guatemala or something, on some clear environmental thing. Doug, what are your thoughts, Mr. Treasurer?
Well, I'm a former Maytag employee and bargaining committee member here at UAW Local 997, and I'm also a veterans activist. I did mention that earlier. And one of my biggest things is back in 2000, this book was published, and as Stephanie said, we had the shirts. No NAFTA, this bad force is coming. They put in here Ross Perot when he said the giant sucking sound, and it's called The Selling of Free Trade. Now, this was 2000, 15 years ago. And he spelled it out perfectly, secret trade agreements. Ross Perot's crazy, doesn't know what he's talking about. So people are on to this a long time ago, but it's just continued to go on and on. I'd like to put the veterans spin on this and how it's affected the veterans community. Historically, Max and I were visiting earlier, he started in 1958 here at Maytag. Veterans of all wars, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, came home. The manufacturing jobs and facilities were there for them to have an honest wage and raise their families, put food on the table, work their 30 years and get a good retirement with benefits. Having World War II, Korea, Vietnam, even Desert Storm, because it had started, in the early 90s. We now have a full generation of veterans that are coming home and don't have those jobs to fall back on. Not everybody intends to go to college. Not everybody's going to utilize the GI Bill to say, hey, I want to go be a businessman or anything of those sorts. They had to have those manufacturing jobs. So not only are we not benefiting our veterans with those jobs, we know what the VA system's all about. We have an entire generation we're now responsible for that doesn't have the capabilities to go get those jobs that paid the living wage that they could raise their families on. One thing that happened with the Maytag situation, I work up at the courthouse, so a lot of them would come through and check in, and they lost their benefits, but they had also missed the gap on signing up for VA benefits because you had to have been signed up by, I forget the year, early 80s, whenever they said you're either on VA benefits or you never can be. So we had another struggle with all these World War II vets. These are the men and women that fought to save the freedoms we have today. And all of a sudden, we're paying thousands of dollars out of their pocket for their insurance because they couldn't get onto the VA because they hadn't signed up. They didn't need it. They had paid for benefits through these negotiations through all these years, and a company like Whirlpool can come in and just take all that away. And that is the greatest generation of citizens that we ever had in this country. And for us to treat them that way, to me, was an abomination as Americans, that we let that happen. And it all started, just nobody really wanted to pay attention. So when I heard that you're releasing this program, I was thrilled, thinking somebody's finally paying attention. And as Max said, it's about time we start holding these guys accountable and saying, hey, free trade is okay if it's fair trade, but right now we have never seen the fair trade into this deal.
Yeah, and to what purpose, too? I mean, if you conclude these agreements and the only people that benefit is the corporate bottom line, and the people that suffer what have we gained?
Exactly.
I mean,
There's bound to come a time where all the products that are made offshore and brought back into this country, because of the low wages, the people here are not going to be able to afford. Because automobiles aren't reduced by anything because they're built in Mexico or China. They pay the same price for an automobile here, regardless where it's built. The day is going to come where people are not going to be able to afford those products that are being shipped back in. You'd think the corporations would understand that, right. But their rush for greed gets in their way of common sense, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a circulatory nature of the economy. I mean, the more workers earn, the more they spend, the more they buy the products, and that's what makes it go around. That's what we seem to understand for a long time. But there's a lot of people that are concerned about the national debt. Well, you're never going to pay down the national debt if we go another 10 years of people earning the same or less than they were 12 years ago.
It's like reverse socialism. Instead of everybody having everything down here and sharing it, they're just hanging on to it up here. And it's not the way our system was intended to be.
That's the our grandparents understood. My dad was one of those World War II guys. He flew a B-24 Liberator over Japan, 33 missions. And that generation understood that people had to be able to get ahead. You had to keep basic. I mean, how many times did Democrats and Republicans alike vote to raise the minimum wage, to always keep it above the poverty line, to make it easier for people to join unions and bargain collectively for better wages? These trade deals, these secret trade deals that accelerate the offshoring of American jobs, offshoring American profits, also undermines us here at home. I mean, it becomes so much easier to undercut unions, say, oh, no, we can't do any raises. Nobody can make anything more because we've got to compete now with India or Vietnam. We need to build our own country. I mean, we are such a strong nation, but we're selling ourselves short by this blind drive to concentrate wealth in the hands of corporate ledger sheets. I guess the thought might have been that when they earn more, they'd invest more in the economy, but they don't, even though they have corporations have record profits today, they're not investing in the economy because none of us are making the dollars that can actually supply the demand. There's got to be a demand. 70% of our economic growth is powered by consumer spending, and consumers are making the same or less, we're not going to grow.
Just one of the small problems with these trade deals that's been negotiated over the years, and this is the most recent AFL-CIO report that I get monthly. The U.S. auto manufacturers, they claim that 93% of the automobiles that are on the Japanese roads are made in Japan. 93% of the cars in Japan are made in Japan. We can't say that here. We can't say that here. And under the trade agreements since 2000, the U.S. has exported 183,000 automobiles to Japan. 183,000. Japan has imported to the United States 16.3 million. Now that's one small problem of these trade deals. You know, Bill Richardson ran for the president nomination back in 2008. He spoke in this union hall. And I know Bill Richardson was a part of a lot of those negotiations in past years. And I like the guy, okay? But I told him, I asked him rather, why does the United States always get the dirty end of the stick every time we negotiate a contract? Well, that didn't go over very big with him because he had been a part of those negotiations. But it's a matter of fact that the United States gets the dirty end of the stick every time we negotiate a trade agreement.
And a lot of those parts in those Japanese cars are actually made in China.
Yeah. You know,
Should we go check
the corporations have shipped jobs to Mexico, and now they're shipping them off to other companies or other countries rather, because the labor is cheaper than it is in Mexico.
So NAFTA didn't do Mexico any favors.
No, the farmers in Mexico lost. That's why a lot of those people that's coming across as illegals are former farmers in Mexico. We go to Texas in the winter, and we read the newspapers down there of the type of people that are coming across the illegal. A lot of them are farmers that lost everything. Now, maybe the farmers here made out. I don't know if they did or not under NAFTA, but those folks didn't down there.
We've got to build our own sustainable economy.
Absolutely.
It's almost like we look for something to do other than what our parents did. Maybe we can fund it with unlimited debt. Maybe we can fund it with Reculus, with a superheated stock market. Maybe we can fund it by just, stumbling backwards into another big trade deal. The only way to build a sustainable economy is put people at the center of it, make the investments in your own country, advance the new technologies and the new horizons like in clean energy, and be ahead of other nations with our innovative power, give our kids the skills they need so that or our veterans the skills they need so that they can fill the new jobs created today. I mean, that's our formula for success, isn't it? We take actions to include more of our people more fully in our economic life, right? Higher, better levels of education and making the investments we need to ourselves.
If we had laws in this country where everyone paid their fair share of taxes, would go a long ways to help out also. The GEs and the Caterpillars and all the rest of them that pay none or little taxes. A lot of people who work pay a bigger percentage of their income towards taxes than the people in the 1%.
Right.
And there's got to be something wrong with that.
Yeah, somebody told me back in Eisenhower, when Eisenhower was president, the top marginal rate was 90%. Sometimes people rail against entitlements. I think one entitlement we can no longer afford is for the wealthiest multimillionaires and billionaires to feel entitled to pay the low marginal rates that Ronald Reagan pushed through and that George Bush compounded. When we actually were able to invest in our country, we created a much better economy. Our discretionary investment, transportation, research, affordable college, dropped to the smallest percent of our GDP that it's been in 5 decades. You can't only give your kids a better future if you make your country stronger. So, anything else for the good of the club? Anybody? Kristen, any other thoughts? Mayor, how long were you mayor?
I was 9 years.
Wow.
was it 2003?
So how old were you when you ran?
33.
Were you a young mayor?
He was 3 months younger than me. I was the mayor of Baxter at that time. So
I only ran to take him out. That's right.
I have never been mayor, and sometimes I think I was never young.
You did the hard work, Max.
I was mayor of Baltimore at 36.
Oh, was that?
Which made me the second youngest mayor.
Yeah, but that's a big city. You had a staff. We had to deal with everything on our own. Now, we talked earlier with Max and those guys coming in the 50s and 60s. Times were good, and they rolled on strong. And we're hoping somebody steps up and says, let's follow through on these promises, because we want our kids and grandkids to be able to go back and live a good life like we've lived. And right now, we look to be the first generation of Americans that can't really look at our kids and say, you may not have it any better than I did. Yeah. And that's a heavy burden for us to bear. So
we get promises.
All right, I am. We do have a new system we're doing where at the top of every hour we give you the headlines for the day. So allow me to do that, please. Thank you. And it's headlines we deem important, and we are excited to tell you about, or we're looking forward to telling you about. And here are the headlines that I'm going to give you at the top of the hour, and we'll get this over with, and I'll get back to Donald Trump's feed. I promise. I know a lot of you are really eager for me to get back to the feed. You're telling me every few minutes, get back to his feed. So Planned Parenthood reverses their policy on taking money for federal tissue donations. This was a huge, huge issue that almost shut down the government. The government wanted, or Republicans, certain Republicans wanted to actually defund Planned Parenthood. Certain Republicans have defunded Planned Parenthood, including presidential candidate on the GOP side, Bobby Jindal. So Planned Parenthood has reversed its policy on taking money for fetal tissue donations. I'm sure you've seen the videos in regards to this situation. An aunt sued and lost. We found out today she sued her nephew. He's 12 years old. He was 8 years old at the time, for $127,000 she wanted in damages. He ran at her screaming, "I love you," at his 8th birthday party. She fell, broke her wrist. He's 12 now. She sued him for this. His mother died a year ago, and the judge said, no way, Jose. She lost that. But I can't imagine that she's going to be welcome at Christmas dinner this year. A woman in Florida was arrested for streaming her drinking and driving on Periscope. People could tell what area of town she was in. Don't worry, Donald Trump has not tweeted since I last showed you the screen. People were concerned about her doing it. They were telling her on Periscope to stop. They were texting her, asking her to stop. But some people recognized the part of town she was in, contacted the police. They pulled her over, and in her brand new car, she hit a curb and was arrested for drinking and driving. She also refused to give a breathalyzer test, but she did fail. That's my mic. She did fail, I think that they made her get out of the car, and she failed that test. Donald Trump is hosting SNL, which he announced on his Twitter feed, which I'll show you in just a minute. No new tweets. And he tweeted today, "The arrogant young woman who questioned me in such a nasty fashion at No Labels yesterday was a Jeb Bush staffer. How can he beat Russia and China?" So that was my headline too. That woman that we saw right here on Fox 10 News now during that live stream of Donald Trump at the No Labels event, she's a Jeb Bush staffer. She also works for another Republican politician, and Jeb Bush says he did not send her, but he didn't like the way Donald Trump handled her, and Donald's reaction was priceless as always. So I'll take you back to Donald Trump's feed right here, so you can see that, and we will get back into, we're going to get back into Martin O'Malley right now.
Almost every election, that someone is going to put a stop to giving tax breaks to corporations for moving jobs offshore. And unfortunately, that's the last we hear. If there's ever been a bill introduced into Congress, I'm not aware of it. I've asked our folks in Detroit if there's any bill ever been introduced by anyone to cut off those tax breaks for moving jobs offshore, and we're not aware of any bill.
I think
we need to put a stop to that kind of
right.
thing.
Well, of course, I mean, every election we want to hope is an opportunity for a deeper level of understanding and the ability to put together a new coalition, forge a new consensus to get things done. And we've been going through a bad patch with this very unrepresentative House of Representatives. I mean, some of these bills are introduced, but they never see the light of day. They never get a hearing. And but the good news is this: look, just like none of us is going to be here forever, neither will this Republican Congress. So there's an opportunity in every election to make a change, and there'll be new redistricting that'll happen. Now, a lot of these districts are so gerrymandered that these guys have no interest in coming through. I mean, look at the way the Republican caucus is disintegrating. Even when they have control of Congress, they don't have control of Congress. I mean, you look at the chaos with Speaker Boehner's retirement and the other fellow stepping back and the 40 that say they're not for anybody unless they're anti-government enough. Mm-hmm. What does the party of Lincoln come to that the criteria for being the Speaker of the House is you have to be totally anti-government? So we've look, we can either believe that we can change this or we can believe it'll always be like this. I believe we can change it. But I do think, Doug, we need to speak to the unspoken anxiety that's out there, which is that we all feel like our kids might not enjoy a life with more opportunity than what we've enjoyed. And so we got to change that. And the good news is we're Americans and we can. And it was not so very long ago when we actually had wage policies, when we were making the investments. My own time, I graduated from college, but I didn't graduate with a lifetime of debt in front of me. Yeah. You know, I worked my way through, I paid my way through. Yeah, I borrowed a little bit to get through, but went to a state school. And now my own kids graduate, and they're looking down the barrel at a lifetime of debt. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't need to be that way. All of these things are choices, and we can make better choices. And one of the choices that I hope our Congress will make is to reject the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We need to focus on building up our own economy. And we need to stop making it easier for corporations to undercut labor. Because make no mistake about it, if they can undercut labor abroad, if they can ship their jobs abroad and produce something cheaper, that hurts wages in Newton. That hurts wages throughout the United States. And hopefully as a country, maybe we'll wake up a little bit and realize that when we buy domestically built things and things that are built in the United States by our neighbors, that's better for our whole economy too. Productivity's never been higher, and yet wages flatlining. So, Kristen, pardon? Sure. Questions from the audience, thoughts from the audience, answers from the audience, suggestions, pushback.
Covered everything, apparently.
Trade. It's kind of hard to dismantle this when none of us have been able to read it, too. How about Taylor? Are we going to talk to Taylor here? Mr. Chairman, I was told you had an announcement.
Yeah, sure. Put me on the spot like this.
Do you want me to come down around the table?
Yeah. Come down around the table. So I've been thinking
the youngest chair in the state and the tallest, right?
Probably. Actually, the tallest person in the legislature as well. I served for 6 years.
How about that?
What?
Yeah.
Taller than me?
No.
So I've been thinking over the past 6 months or so who I'm going to support as for president, and I got to listen to you in July, and you had a really great speech at Uncle Nancy's, and I got to listen to Secretary Clinton, and she also made it to Uncle Nancy's, and Senator Sanders when he was at the Newton Auditorium, the Newton School District, and I decided that I think that you are the best candidate for the Democratic Party, and that regardless of what polls are out there or how much support you have in the rest of the nation, I think that you have a great ground game, and you have a lot of great organizers, and I think that you're going to have a lot of support in Jasper County. And so I decided earlier this week that I'll be supporting your campaign. And so I work really hard in between meetings, during the day, during the evenings, over my lunch break, over my breakfast. Spent 4 hours on my birthday making political calls, talking to my friends and family to see if they're going to be supporting you as well. And so my goal was to get 24 Commit to Caucus cards, because it's my 24th birthday on Tuesday it was.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you. And I only managed to get 20 by today. So in 4 days I got 20 Commit to Caucus cards. So
that's awesome.
I think a 3-hour meeting Wednesday night, had a 2.5 meeting with my fellow Jasper County Democrats last night, and I think in between it all, I managed to get 20 and hopefully get 4 more by this weekend. But I wanted to give you this, and also, one of the biggest reasons why I support your candidacy. One, you're a great young candidate, and I know that there's a lot of young progressives. Not only there's a couple in Jasper County, but I have a lot of friends in Des Moines that have already backed you and know that you're the great candidate through and through. So regardless of what your last name is, regardless of where you're at in the polls right now, I'm personally looking forward to the next 4 months or so, helping you get elected. So I think the biggest thing for me is when I graduated college, I'm a first-year college student, and so going into it, I didn't really know how to finance for college. My parents are part of the lower middle class, and I managed to get student loans. Right now, I'm sitting at about $75,000 in student loan debt, more than half of it from private loans, and interest rates anywhere from 7.5% to 10.5%. Which is awful. And so I'm thankful that Wells Fargo got me the loan, and I managed to get my degree from Simpson College, great institution. And now I'm kind of drowning in debt a little bit. So I'm in the phase of refinancing, which is great, but I know there's so many Iowans and so many Americans my age that are struggling, trying to get themselves out of debt. That's great that we have jobs, but I don't think the wages compared to how much debt that we have. And so going into that, I know that one of your big goals is college affordability. And another big issue for me is public schools. I graduated from a very, very, very small public school, Limbo Sully, just down the road, and I understand that our governor doesn't believe that our public schools are worth more than $37 million in corporate tax cuts. And so that frustrated me, and I think that you've hit a couple notes to me that public education is very important to you, and education in general, and that instead of investing less in your public schools when you were governor of Maryland, you invested more. And I think that some Republicans here in Iowa need to realize that, and especially the governor, making sure that we adequately fund our schools. So with that, not only... Sorry, I'm making this really long. But not only am I committed personally to your campaign, I got 20 signatures.
Awesome.
And
huge.
A $24 check, because that's all I can budget for my for me. So
we'll have gas to get back to Des Moines.
And last election cycle, I knocked on almost 10,000 doors, put 17,000 miles on my car, and I don't think I can do it this time for you, just because I have a full-time job and I have a part-time job and chair of a county, and I do that for free because I love Jasper County. But I will knock on many, many doors for you, leading into the winter. So I really appreciate all that you're doing, and keep chugging along, especially after the caucuses.
Hey, thank you. Thanks a lot. Usually we do these, we're going to fan these out.
Too many to hold.
Too many to hold. Here we go. And the $24 check. Mr. Chairman, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Governor Taylor told me that he might do this. So tonight you're speaking in Des Moines at the Polk County, and I represent Polk County as well. And so I offered my tickets up to Taylor and his friends to go to it. And then I told him the reason is because the Cubs are playing tonight at 5:30. So Taylor will be there tonight too.
Are you
going tonight?
Yeah, I'm going tonight.
Good.
Well, Senator and Representative, thank you guys for what you do to fight for education here in Iowa too. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Thanks a lot. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Steph. Thank you. Thanks a lot for making the time.
No problem.
Governor, thanks again for coming. Appreciate it.
Always good to be here.
Heard you at the state fry at Marcus.
And this is Governor Martin O'Malley speaking. This is a campaign event. This was a town hall he had last week, and I do believe he has a few minutes with some reporters. So we'll keep on this audio and listen to some of those questions from reporters. And then I pulled a Jim Webb video for Tess in the room, and we will get into that as well.
Thank you. This is different.
Okay, and then you live in Memphis?
No, in Belgium.
And you're the chair of the I just came to see an eye on you.
Okay. Should I put my coat on? Or? Yep. Huh? Don't we get the cards from the chat?
Keep in mind.
Thank you. Good. Yes. Thanks a lot. So, wide receiver. That's a low number. So I thought
You got stuff? No. I got one question.
Thanks a lot. Good seeing you again.
Step in behind him.
I think we're waiting for him to talk to media. Let's see. I don't want to click on it and take you away from Trump's tweets. Trump's tweets! Trump's tweets!
This is the first time I've seen a sticker that's not. That's what? For America.
We have breaking news. I think I might have a new headline for my top 5 stories on the hour. Lamar Odom found unconscious at a Nevada brothel. Good thing Chloe kicked him to the curb.
These batteries are terrible. What did you still last so long? Oh, these batteries? Yeah. They wear out so fast. It's like an hour. Really? Yeah. Like an hour. Huh?
All right, I'm gonna take that. I don't hear O'Malley talking. Let's see. Hold on. Give me a second. I think what I'm gonna do is actually show it to you. after this woman takes a selfie with him.
Material, and the best thing I've done to prepare is actually all the counties I've visited here in Iowa. People are so well-read and so up to date on the issues that I've found that that's probably the best preparation of all. The number of questions I get whenever I campaign across Iowa.
So in your prep, I'm curious, who is playing Hillary Clinton and who is playing Bernie Sanders?
Oh, I don't know. Nobody that you would know. But we're doing the mock preparation like other campaigns would, and practicing, delivering the message that we're great people, that we need to make better choices to get wages to go up, to give our kids a future with more opportunity rather than less. Whether we saddle our kids with a mountain of debt for college or whether we make it debt free is really up to us. So that's going to be my message, and I'm really looking forward to finally having these debates and being able to put forward the ideas that serve our country and also the values that I believe differentiate us from the sort of vision that you saw from the Republican stage. I think you're going to see a very different debate. You won't see the Democratic candidates trying to one-up each other on who dislikes immigrants the most or denies climate change. We're going to be hopefully talking about the ideas that serve our nation, that allow every family to be able to get ahead and give their kids a better future.
Do you think Hillary Clinton came out against the Trans-Pacific Partnership because of polling?
I have no idea why she. I have no idea. I can tell you this. I know the difference between principle and my principles and the principles of our country, and polling. Now, weather vanes kind of shift in the wind. I know where I stand, and I was against the Trans-Pacific Partnership 8 months ago, and same on the Keystone, and same on any number of other issues. I'll tell you, for 30 years, there's some things I've tried to do well and have fallen short. One of those things is playing the guitar. But over those years, I've learned how to govern effectively, and you don't do that by listening to polls. You don't do that by doing focus groups. You forge a new consensus and bring people together to accomplish things because they serve, because they're right, because they're consistent with our principles and our best interests. So that's the way I govern, and that's the leadership that I offer to our country. Anybody can follow a poll, but we elected the President of the United States, a person that can lead us forward, and so we can start accomplishing important things for the sake of our kids.
The Secretary of Agriculture, of course, our former governor, is saying that this new trade deal means a lot of money for the pork industry here in Iowa. I mean, aren't you asking some Democrats to actually vote against their own economic interests by going against this trade deal?
Well, we haven't seen all the terms of this. I understand that there may be some barriers to the pork industry coming down in Japan. We haven't seen all the terms of this. I'm very much in favor of our marketing pork, our products, our commodities all around the world. I've led trade delegations all over the world, and I believe there's nothing that stops us from doing that. I also believe that we should be recapitalizing and reauthorizing the Export-Import Bank. But I think if there's nobody, if we wipe out jobs like we did with NAFTA with this, if we lower standards for workers, if we continue to drive down wages in the United States, that's not going to be good for anybody, whether it's farmers or people working in manufacturing. So I think we have to look at these deals in a holistic way, and at the same time, there's nothing that should stop us as a nation from marketing our produce to emerging markets all around the world.
Any other? Thanks, guys.
Guys, thank you. Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's where my Martin O'Malley feed ends up. Definitely not Governor Martin O'Malley, but let's get back to Trump's feed. We haven't had a tweet in a few minutes. That's unfortunate. It amazes me how much how much debate this debate is stirring in our chat room. Obviously, because I can't stream it because I am a Fox affiliate, not with CNN. But I do like that we have given you an outlet to express yourself. We do have some breaking news that I want to give you, and I'll share it with you here. Lamar Odom fighting for his life, found unconscious at a Nevada brothel. 7 p.m. Sources, 7:05, okay. Sources tell us Khloe and Kim Kardashian as well as Kris Jenner are heading to Las Vegas shortly to meet Lamar at the hospital. This is via TMZ.com. Lamar Odom is fighting for his life after falling into unconsciousness at Dennis Hoff's Love Ranch in Nevada, TMZ Sports has learned. Sources at the Love Ranch tell us 35-year-old Odom arrived at the ranch Saturday and was partying with the girls for days. A source at the ranch said Lamar was taking an herbal substitute for Viagra, #ew. We spoke to Hoff, who tells us Tuesday afternoon a woman went into Odom's room in the VIP suite and found him unconscious. We're told the woman began screaming for the manager, who then called 911. The manager rolled Lamar over on his side and saw mucus-type liquid coming out of his nose and mouth. An ambulance took Lamar to the hospital where doctors... Oh, wow, he couldn't breathe on his own? Oh, an indication he couldn't breathe on his own. We're told Lamar is being airlifted from the hospital to Las Vegas for more treatment. Our sources tell us it's not good. We're told Lamar had been partying at the ranch by himself with no friends or entourage and is now alone at the hospital. The ranch staff says they want to be in the ranch staff says they want to be in the room with Lamar, but since they're not family, they're not allowed. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So that's some breaking news right there. That's a horrible story. I think, isn't Khloe Kardashian still legally married to him? Oh, ex-husband, actually. Wow. That is some pretty upsetting and scary news for Lamar Odom and his family and friends. I guess, all we can do is hope and pray for the best in this scenario, but it sounds like he was in a bad place to be there, putting himself in that position. Back to the debate. Looks like Donald Trump hasn't updated his Twitter feed in 11 minutes. This is the worst debate ever, says Joe Foley. Bronwyn says, I am sad for Lamar. Doesn't matter what he's become. He's a human being. I hope he makes it. Absolutely, Bronwyn. Thank you, Jack. I truly enjoyed you this evening as well. Cheers. And Billy says he's LOLing that the Kardashians made FNN news. Really? Well, Billy, this is my life. This is what's happening right now. I did do a reality show with the Kardashians, though, and we talked about Caitlyn and Bruce Jenner for like 2 months, so I don't want to hear it, Billy. You know I love you. Well, Billy disagrees with Bronwyn, saying, I could care less what happens to Lamar. He had it good, but chose drugs and the thug life. Billy, I just want to formally thank you for allowing me to say the thug life. Thank you. I do have this Jim Webb video that I want to show you, but I'm torn because this is a message from Jim Webb. And this is his campaign video. I'm going to put it in my corner, and I'm probably going to talk over it a little bit because I don't know. I just heard one of my producers, Obi, say Donald Trump got quiet. He did get quiet, and it's negatively affecting my show. This is for Tess. This is for Tess. This is Jim Webb. Tess says she wants to hear more from Jim Webb. And this is a video that he's uploaded to his YouTube page, Webb 2016. And I'm sure it's in regards to his presidential bid and some of his policies. So let's take a moment to watch this together.
I'd like to take a few minutes of your time to ask you to consider the most important question facing America today. Is it possible for us to return to a leadership environment where people from both political parties and from all philosophical points of view would feel compelled to work together for the common good and to sort out their disagreements in a way that moves our country forward rather than tearing the fabric of this nation apart? As one who spent 4 years in the Reagan administration and then
4
served
years
in the
with
Senate
Reagan.
as a Democrat, I believe it is possible. It is also necessary.
He's 69 years old.
We desperately need to fix our country and to reinforce the values that have sustained us for more than 2 centuries.
He's been married
Many
3
of which have
times.
fallen by the wayside in the nasty debates of the last several years. I hope you will consider joining me in that effort.
Looks like he has 5
Over
children.
the past few months, thousands of concerned Americans from across the political spectrum have urged me to run
His
for president.
hashtag is WebNation.
A consistent theme runs through these requests. Americans want positive, visionary leadership that they can trust. They're
Oh, he
worried
says
about the
no
state of
country
our
is a
economy,
country without
the
defining
fairness
its
of our
borders. That's
complicated
interesting.
Multicultural society, the manner in which we are addressing foreign policy and national security challenges, and the divisive, paralyzed nature of our government itself. In short, they're worried about the future. They want solutions, not rhetoric. And I share every one of these concerns. I have proudly spent several periods in government, but I am not a career politician. I came from a family of citizen soldiers. My father served 26 years in the Air Force as a pilot and a pioneer in our missile program.
Oh, interesting.
I learned early about the sacrifices a family makes when a family member is repeatedly deployed, and also the fulfillment that comes from serving our country. My brother, my son, and I all became Marines. I fought on one of the Vietnam War's harshest battlefields. After leaving the Marine Corps, I studied law and found a fulfilling career as an author and journalist. But again and again, I came back to the personal fulfillment that can only come from public service. I spent 8 years on active duty in the military, 4 years as a committee counsel in the Congress working to help our veterans, 5 years in the Pentagon, 1 as a Marine, 4 as Assistant Secretary of Defense and Secretary of the Navy. And I spent 6 years as a member of the United States Senate. Each time I served not with the expectation of making government a career, but to contribute to the good of the country during a period of crisis or great change. In that spirit, I have decided to launch an exploratory committee to examine whether I should run for president in 2016. I made this decision after reflecting on numerous political commentaries.
He sounds so military, that's why I'm liking him, says Tess.
Listening and talking with more people.
Billy says America needs a better economy, better mental health care, better race relations, and better politicians if we are ever going to recover.
Agree that we are at a serious crossroads. These challenges are only partly political. Equally, they involve questions of leadership. I learned long ago on the battlefields of Vietnam that in a crisis, there is no substitute for clear-eyed leadership. We are the greatest country on earth, overflowing with innovative thinkers.
Wow, he's written a lot of books. Oh, we have a new tweet by Trump.
For the good of the country. We need people who will put the well-being of all our citizens.
Trump says, notice that illegal immigrants will be given Obamacare and free college tuition, but nothing has been mentioned about our veterans.
Americans are a complicated and unique people. For nearly 250 years, we have been a beacon of hope throughout the world. People from other countries sometimes mock us for saying that we are unique. But in our history and our structure, we are unique. We are a country founded not by conquest, but by the guarantee of freedom. Our Constitution established a government not to protect the dominance of an aristocratic elite, but under the principle that there should be no permanent aristocracy, that every single American should have equal protection under the law.
Newt Gingrich is currently on Fox National talking about the GOP shakeup.
Our insistence on individual freedom, opportunity.
Is that how you compete with it, the Democratic debate? Newt.
We haven't been perfect, and from time to time,
we compete with it with Jim Webb.
We have slid toward allowing the very inequalities that our Constitution was supposed to prevent. Walk into some of our inner cities, Stephen and Jer, and see the stagnation, poverty, crime, lack of opportunity that still affects so many African Americans. Or travel to the Appalachian Mountains, where my own ancestors settled, whose cultural values I still share.
According to Stephen in the chat room, Bernie Sanders just brought up Hillary Clinton's email scandal.
And who live in the reality that if you're poor and white, you're out of sight. We cannot sit idly by and accept that such economic and power divisions are permanent. The Democratic Party used to be the place where people like these could come, not for a handout, but for an honest, respectable handshake, good full-time jobs, quality education, health care they can afford, and the vital, overriding reassurance that we are all in this together, and that the system is not rigged in favor of one group of people and against another. We can get there again. The American dream does survive. I see it every day in the journey of my wife, Haunt, who at the age of 7 escaped with her extended family on a fishing boat when the communists took over South Vietnam in 1975.
Oh,
not knowing whether
love
they would
story.
live or die. They were rescued at sea by the United States Navy, taken to refugee camps in Guam and Arkansas, later moving to
Donald
New
Trump tweets after Hillary Clinton's poor performance, or no, he retweets after Hillary Clinton's poor performance. Waffling in debates. Teamster 14 should support real Donald Trump.
Everybody deserves that opportunity. In too many places, we've been lost. The structure of our economy
Retweeting a lot.
and whole communities.
There's a lot of retweeting going on here.
And as the curse of drug addiction and incarceration.
I'll have that Twitter feed up as soon as this video is done.
Can get it back again.
I have to talk over it because I'm not 100% sure I can play it. So.
We are who we say we are when we say we are Americans. Forget the polls, the noise, and the nasty TV ads. The challenges before us are far greater than the task of winning an election. It is to govern with foresight, fairness, and
Tess says, I've decided I like Webb. I'll be watching closely to see what he says going forward.
To provide educational and working opportunities that meet the needs of the future, to rebuild our infrastructure, and to reinforce our position as the economic engine of the greatest democracy on earth. We need to redefine and strengthen our national security obligations, while at the same time reducing ill-considered foreign ventures that have drained trillions from our economy, and in some cases brought instability instead of deterrence.
64,000, almost 65,000 have watched his campaign video.
Squarely before the American people and gain their support. The 2016 election is 2 years away, but serious campaigning will begin very soon. The first primary.
He said the American people are sick of hearing about your damn emails. Bernie Sanders apparently said that to Hillary. So funny, Stephen. Thank you.
We're starting with very little funding,
Whoa.
hardly any staff, but I've been here
Donald
before.
Trump just tweeted a bad word.
In February 2006, I announced for the Senate only 9 months before the election against an entrenched incumbent. We had no money and no staff. We were more than 30 points behind in the polls. I promise to work on the same things I am putting before you now. Reorient our national
Tess says
security
that
policy.
Bernie Sanders' tone sounded like he supported Hillary and wanted the media to shut up about it.
Including a proper balance between the presidency and Congress.
Donald Trump just retweets somebody saying these five make real Donald Trump look like Winston Churchill.
Promises in a measurable, lasting way. In 2007, I gave the response to President Bush's State of the Union address. I put economic fairness for our working family and small business owners at the front of my response, noting the immense and ever-growing disparities in income between
Another tweet from Donald Trump.
who do the hard work. When I graduated from college,
Hashtag dim debate is a joke. Trump 2016.
today that number is greater than 300 times. The inequalities between top and bottom in our country are greater than at any time in the last 100 years. And the disparities between those at the very top and the rest of our society have only grown larger since the economic crash of late 2008 and early 2009. The stock market has nearly tripled during the so-called recovery, while ordinary income and loans to small business owners have actually decreased. I believe we can address these concerns while still supporting the American dream of economic success for the risk takers and visionaries.
So, man, it just this feels never ending. Is this as long as the Republican debate?
I have lived under the load. We don't need to overburden.
I've literally not seen one speech from this guy given to us. You know, we're only allowed to play what we receive on the satellites, typically, and I've not seen one speech from this man. This is from his YouTube, his campaign YouTube channel, so I imagine he would like it to be shared. That's why I'm sharing it here with you today.
On my first day in the Senate, I introduced a new GI Bill for those veterans who've served so faithfully.
But it's interesting that some of these people came out of the woodworks. This was uploaded.
Iraq during some of the worst months of that war.
The title of the page is Webb 2016, but this actual video was published on November 19th, 2014.
Through the Congress, gaining bipartisan support along the way. It is the best GI Bill in American history, covering a veteran's tuition, books, and fees, and providing a monthly stipend. Today, more than 1 million post-9/11 veterans have been able to use it. We also brought the need for criminal justice reform out of the shadows and into the national debate as a bipartisan issue of leadership, rather than one of divisive politics. When we began this effort, I was warned it was political suicide to call for such reforms. But when others in the political process saw the support we received across philosophical lines, the need for criminal justice reform became a popular topic.
Very opinionated on the debate tonight in the chat room. Thank you so much for spending your chat time with me.
We began calling for America to strongly re-engage in East Asia with a special focus on Japan, Korea, and the 10 countries of ASEAN, particularly Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, and Burma. I've spent a lot of time in Asia over the years. We put this issue on the table 2 years before President Obama came to office, and 3 years before his administration announced.
Stephen, I don't know when Fox News is hosting the next debate, but I'm sure I will find out about it.
With respect to accountability in government, I partnered with Senator Claire McCaskill to pass legislation creating the wartime contract.
I'm surprised at how long these debates go. I would be exhausted because you have to be on your guard. You have to be aware the entire time that there's a camera on you. And even if your nose itches or you feel like you're going to sneeze, a face you make could be taken out of context and split and later placed somewhere else in a news cycle. And you could look like you were angry or reacting or laughing to a horrible response or statement. I mean, you have to be on the entire time, like a Broadway show that you are the star of.
Unparalyzed the environment and reestablished a transparent, functioning governmental system. I invite you to learn more about my positions.
Wow, Tess. I'm just kidding. I knew what you meant.
I can assure you, we will be focusing not on petty politics.
Thank you, Billy.
How to match a position with a poll, but on the future of our country and on solutions that will rebuild and unite us. Politics, nobody owns me, and I don't owe anybody anything.
Politics, nobody owns me. I don't know nobody anything. It's his Donald Trump language.
All I ask is that you consider the record I am putting before you and give me the opportunity to earn your trust.
I wish that I knew what their numbers
Consider
were.
this effort. I'm asking that you support the exploratory committee.
Billy says this is a joke of a debate compared to the GOP debate.
Other Americans to do the same. Visit our website, www.web2016.com, to register your support. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Let's fix our country together.
Let's fix our country together. Oh, like make America great again? Do you want to make America great again? Hey, let's transition. I'm going to put some Donald Trump tweets up here. We have 3 new tweets to show you. Wow, I am giving a speech on OAN, much more exciting than debate. Thank you for always remembering America's veterans. A lot of Twitter action for Donald Trump this evening. This was, again, typical great PR move for this guy. Releasing that he was going to tweet during the debate because it was going to be boring. And he was, I mean, how many more followers does he have? That's going to be a great story tomorrow, and that will be a headline tomorrow. I love this. Billy says, no one gave me anything when I was raising my daughter. I worked hard and earned more to take care of my responsibility. These politicians are a joke. I feel like Billy has been watching me when I have my mental breakdowns at the end of some of these town hall meetings. Billy knows. He's on my side. 30,000 more followers at least, says Billy. In regards to how many new followers Donald Trump has, Tess says that Sanders looks pooped. Steven says, I knew Joe Biden wasn't going to be at the debate tonight. I'd like to ask you how. Steven, I'd also like to make the point that Joe Biden's already winning in regards to who has favor in the Democrats' party. So why would he put himself in the position to lose that by showing up here when he doesn't have to? It's not required. Hapalia suggests that Sanders is too old. I can't believe it's only Tuesday. New tweet from Trump. Dozens of empty seats in debate press room long after sign-in deadline. This will be an interesting story. You can always tell when someone walks in that I love, because I'm like, oh, hi. Debate press room riff with empty seats hours after check-in deadline as Democrats find a way to bring apathy to Las Vegas. Democrats' first presidential primary debate is Tuesday night in Las Vegas, Nevada. DailyMail.com counted 61 out of 354 press seats that showed no sign of being occupied 3 hours after check-in deadline for reporters. 3 press outlets said they were offered more seats in the press room than the reporters they brought to cover the event. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I might have to send this to our... I'm going to send this to our producers because that's, I can see that on our... going on our air. Thank you to my mother that sent me that article. Kim, thank you for contributing to the show. Mom. One new Trump tweet. Ha ha ha, says Belle. The debates were brought to us by toenail fungus medicine. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna send that article. Maybe I'll show it to you if it's got good pictures. Oh well, there are commercials. I thought it was commercial free. Oops. Well, alright. I didn't mean to pull it up there, but you get to look at it over here. The press room at the Wynn Hotel and Casino is pictured 2.5 hours after the sign-in deadline for reporters. Wow. Lonely. That's beautiful. It is beautiful. Not as pretty as the Fox one, though, for the record. Well, that's interesting that a lot of press didn't show up. Well, Tess suggests Trump has been fairly tame tonight so far, hasn't he? Or did I miss a great tweet? Something else cursed, and he retweeted them. I was a little shocked by the curse word, but I don't know why, quite frankly. Happily says, I think he knows this debate was the nail in the coffin for the Democratic Party. And hey, it's almost 8. Well, I don't really understand how I'm supposed to do this. You know I'm supposed to give you headlines like every half... Maybe was it... I thought it was at the top and the bottom of the hour. But is that once an hour? Or is it twice an hour? Am I supposed to give it to you at the top of the hour? Like, am I supposed to give you headlines every half hour? I don't know. I like that you guys have to watch me actually try to figure stuff out. No, I don't. I don't like that. I'm sorry that you have to witness that. I should put this up when I can't think of things. The "we'll be right back" up sign and do one of these. I'm trying to figure it out. That's what it should look like. Let me give you the top 5 headlines, though. Aside from Lamar Odom fighting for his life right now because he was found unconscious in a Vegas brothel, Planned Parenthood is reversing its policy on taking money for fetal tissue donations. This is a huge deal as it sparked so much controversy that it almost shut down the government. An aunt attempted to sue her sweet baby nephew for $127,000 because he ran up and screamed, "I love you," and tried to jump at her at age 8. And it broke her wrist. He is now 12. She attempted to sue him for $127,000, and the court said, no way. A Florida woman was arrested after streaming a drunken driving escapade on Periscope. Friends were trying to encourage her to pull over. Some recognized the part of town she was in, called the police and let them know. They pulled her over. She was arrested, and she tore up her 2015 car. Donald Trump is hosting SNL next month. It will be a very exciting episode, and it will be the first time he's hosted SNL since 2004. And in a tweet, Donald Trump revealed, I quote, "The arrogant young woman who questioned me in such a nasty fashion at No Labels yesterday was a Jeb staffer. How can he beat Russia and China?" Donald Trump reveals that the woman that attacked him at the No Labels event was a Jeb Bush staffer. And we actually watched that exchange live here on Fox 10 News Now, both yesterday morning and yesterday evening. So let's go back to Trump's feed. Those were my top 5 headlines.
Webb. Yeah, that's who your best enemy was. It's not time yet, Webb. Talk about the soldier.
What's the aunt's name? Cruella DeVille? Where was that? I had her picture. Oh, I posted it elsewhere. Let me find it. I'm going to pull this up. This lady. Where's this lady's picture? Oh, her picture's in the preview. Okay, an update on that lady. Manhattan woman loses $127,000 lawsuit against 12-year-old nephew. And while I'm on it, I should put up this lower third so we can get back in the... Okay, this is according to Fox News. A jury ruled against a Manhattan woman who sued her 12-year-old nephew for $127,000 for jumping into her arms at his 8th birthday party, causing her to fall and break her wrist. The New York Post reported that the 6-member jury took only 25 minutes to unanimously rule in favor of Sean Tarala. Jennifer Connell had testified Friday that she loved her nephew, but believed he should be held accountable for causing the injury. The lawsuit comes after Tarala's mother passed away only last year. He was the only defendant. Ahead of the decision, legal experts David Bruno and Anne-Marie McAvoy appeared on The Real Story to discuss the case. They said there's no rule saying you can't sue a child, but Connell would have had to prove that Tarala acted unreasonably for an 8-year-old, which would have been difficult. FoxNews.com reported Robert D. McCabe, an injury attorney in Connecticut who is not working on the case, said, in general, people, including minors, are responsible for their actions, but these minors are likely covered by their parents' homeowners insurance. It would be a tough assignment for an attorney to convince a jury that doesn't know there's insurance to come down on an 8-year-old who may have been showing vigorous affection for his aunt. So I don't have her picture, but she's mean. I agree. I agree with the chat room. But she lost. One new tweet from Trump in regards to the debate. All right. Okay, we will. All right. We certainly will. Let's see here. What does my chat room say? I was trying to find a picture of the Energizer Bunny I could use legally. Funny comment from John P. Hoffman. Says, back in the 90s, CNN stood for the Clinton News Network, and things haven't changed. Zero Gravity says they avoided what? Okay. Tess, I don't think there was a clear winner. In my mind, Webb won because I now want to know who he is and what he stands for. Everyone else was predictable, liberal sound bites. And then Zero Gravity said, yeah, they did avoid Webb for some reason. I don't know what that is, why that is either. Other than the fact that he wasn't who they necessarily want to spotlight, who they necessarily want to be the star. You know, a lot of times it felt like specifically last time that there was a lot of heat on Donald Trump, and they craft those through the questions that they ask, and perhaps maybe they just didn't prepare for Webb to be as interesting as he was, or as Tess found him. Billy says Hillary just cannot pull off funny or friendly. "51 seconds ago, Hillary posted this. Oh, sorry, I'm blocking. It's Hillary's tweet. Let's see what Bernie's team said. Jim Webb hasn't updated since the debate. "42 seconds ago, Bernie Sanders tweeted, 'We need to rethink our criminal justice system.' And he has a video link to CNN, which I'm not allowed to show you. But he is on top of his Twitter feed. Someone 27 seconds ago named Chris Bullock tweeted, "Martin O'Malley is going to gain the most from tonight."
Well, this is a good story.
"35 minutes ago, Martin O'Malley's camp tweeted, 'Want to know more about Governor O'Malley? Check out our timeline on his life and accomplishments.'" Let's check that out here. Oh. "1986. The state field director of the Barbara Malinsky for Senate campaign. Senator Malinsky has been in office ever since. 1987 served as the national field director on the Gary Hart for President 1988 presidential campaign. There's the photo underneath me. He's handsome. Ooh, in 1999 he married Katie Curran and went on to have 4 kids. They look in love. Mayor of Baltimore. That's a cute picture. It's very very Gotham. Isn't that the show we have on Fox? Very cool website. Tess says O'Malley is too much of a wimp, backing off of his statement that all lives matter. There's no coming back from that. Hello, fellow conservatives, says Rat in the chat. Welcome, Rat. Rat missed a good time. I believe we stumbled upon Rat through our Donald Trump coverage. Oh, we missed some. Rat, we've been covering Donald Trump's feed this entire night. We've been staying on top of it. Go watch a video of Baltimore today. Trust me, the Dems don't even want that guy, says Hapalia. 8 seconds ago, Donald Trump retweeted, "I cannot wait to see you debate these clowns." 2 more tweets. Not impressed. Success spelled incorrectly for Mr. Trump is another success of America 2015. Oh wow, interesting retweet from Trump. Democratic debate message summary equals more free handouts. They will be voting in droves. We need to get out and vote for Trump big time. I feel like this campaign is giving me 4 headlines and wrinkles. It's stressing me out. It truly is stressing me out. Since I can't really give you highlights, I do think it would be of value to you and that you would enjoy if I played some of our videos from our evening broadcast for you. I know you saw some of them. I don't know if you saw all of them, but I do have some of our evening broadcast for you. Right now I'm looking at the Baseline Killer. I remember when this story first broke, I lived over in that area and I lived on Baseline and I was petrified. I was very, very, very upset. So I'm going to share this update with you. This is Carrie Lake with an update on the Baseline Killer.
He kept the valley on edge for months back in 2005 and 2006. 9 people killed, a dozen more sexually assaulted or kidnapped. But today, the case of Mark Goudeau, the case of the so-called Baseline Killer, is back in the headlines. Mark Goudeau was found guilty and later sentenced to death, but today his sentence is being appealed. Steve Kraft joins us live with the story tonight. Steve.
Well, at trial, prosecutors described Mark Goudeau as a serial killer. In fact, some 71 criminal charges in his case. But Goudeau's attorneys say his convictions should be overturned. Mark Godot, on death row for multiple murders, not present today. In the Supreme Court, his attorney began by referring to a well-known quote about the goal of the justice system.
A fair trial is one in which the rules of evidence are honored, the accused has competent counsel, and the judge enforces the proper courtroom procedures. A trial in which every assumption can be challenged.
Godot's attorney said the 71-day trial fell far short of this standard, claiming prosecutors bundled criminal charges so jurors couldn't properly sift through the evidence. An attorney for the state defended prosecutors.
It was clear that the crimes were used together to show identity and not for any improper purpose. There was never any argument that he's a bad guy, so he must have done all of these things.
Throughout Mark Godot's trial, conviction, and imprisonment, one woman has stood behind him, Wendy Carr, and she continued to stand behind him today. What do you say to all the people out there who think that he's a killer?
I say I'm sorry that they were given such incorrect information, and that only compounds their agony. It's awful that they've been lied to throughout all of this.
Wendy Carr was married to Mark Godot when he was convicted of 9 murders and a string of other crimes. She has always maintained he is innocent. Today's hearing lasted over an hour. The Arizona Supreme Court will now debate the case and decide in the coming months whether Mark Godot's convictions should be thrown out. Reporting live, Steve Kraft, Fox 10 News.
I bought Steve Kraft that tie. I'm good at tie shopping. Oh, family of 6 escapes overnight fire?
All new tonight at 5, a Valley family telling us how they escaped a fire in their home overnight. Flames broke out as the 6 were asleep. And they have a message for other people. Linda Williams joins us live with that story tonight. Linda?
To put it politely, John, the message is stuff happens. Sometimes it happens in the middle of the night when your whole family is asleep. When it does, it's best to have something that alerts you. What appears to be a crashed spaceship on a charred planet, in reality, is a smoke detector on a charred couch that used to sit in the Lachua family's living room in Phoenix. It's also part of the reason this family of 6 is alive and well today.
It was pretty scary, but we're all made it out on time. We're all okay.
Early Tuesday morning, a cooler on the roof of the family's home malfunctioned.
Our cooler caught fire and it melted, and since it was plastic, it melted down and it got into a roof and went all into the attic, all the insulation.
Cristino says it was around 1 a.m. when the fire started burning in their attic. It was the middle of the night and the family of 6 was sound asleep.
Thanks to our smoke detectors, they went off and we woke up and we just ran out of the house.
How many smoke detectors do you think you have?
5 or 6 around the whole house.
That's a smoke detector in just about every room. The damage to the home is extensive, and a lot of the family's stuff is wet or ruined. They lost a lot in this fire, but they say they haven't lost everything.
Basically, we're still standing here thanks to our smoke detectors.
The Lachuas say they will stay with family while their home is being repaired, and they say it's a great time to remind everyone to check your batteries, change them in your smoke detector if it's been a year, if you haven't already. I'm Linda Williams, Fox 10 News.
Thank you so much, Linda Williams. And smoke detectors are always a good idea to keep in mind. I only remember to check on mine if they start beeping at me, and it's only because I'm inconvenienced by the beep. I find it very, well, it infuriates me, to be quite honest with you. That beep, it comes out of nowhere. It keeps you up at night. Here's a sweet story. Meet Rue. It's a 2-legged puppy dog who needs a home.
This dog is in need of a loving forever family, and there will be suitors. Her name is Rue. She was born with a birth defect, but somebody's out there waiting to be her family. Fox 10's Courtney Griffin has the story tonight.
Rue isn't like many other dogs. She doesn't have front legs.
We think that it's a birth defect. She doesn't have use of her front legs. She can't even, extend them. They're just little stumps, basically. So
this 1-year-old pit bull mix was found last week. Melissa Gable with Maricopa County Animal Care and Control says she can get around just fine. It just takes a whole lot of effort.
Or she'll stand and kind of hover over the ground and walk that way. She still gets around, you know, she just doesn't run like most dogs would.
They're hoping someone can donate a cart to help make Rue's life a little easier.
It's a lot of work for her to move from one place to the other. If she had a cart, that would make her life so much easier.
Gable says Rue's forever home will have to be a family with patience and love.
We want to make sure that they're going to follow up with her vet care and just give her a good life. Don't exploit her. Don't show her off as the dog that has 2 legs. Treat her like a normal dog and make sure that she's getting the love and attention she needs.
Rue will be up for adoption next Wednesday. If you're interested in adopting her, they ask that you just send a little essay in describing why you think she will be a perfect match for your family. We'll have a link on our website, fox10phoenix.com. In Phoenix, Courtney Griffin, Fox 10 News.
Thanks, Courtney. Rue will be spayed and will have all of her vaccines by the time she's put up for adoption.
Poor Rue. You should come live with me, Rue, but I have like a million other dogs in my house, so. And they would get jealous because I'd always want to cuddle with Rue. Let's see here. Oh, we streamed this live for you earlier this evening, but NAU had a very peaceful gathering today on campus, encouraging teachers to allow students out of class early, encouraging students to wear navy blue in their NAU gear. And we have some of that for you. We actually sent Nicole out there to get the story for you, but this is the NAU campus showing support for those shooting victims in regards to the shooting that occurred on Friday morning.
First on Fox tonight, a campus community coming together after a deadly shooting.
Students and faculty at Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff walking as a show of support following Friday's shooting near a dorm there. A Glendale man has been charged in that crime. 4
Delta Chi fraternity members were shot that night. Police say 2 groups got into a late-night fight, and 1 person returned with a gun and opened fire. Colin Brew died in that shooting. 3 others, Nick Prado, Nick Peering, and Kyle Zantek, they were hurt as well. Fox 10's Nicole Garcia streaming live at Flagstaff tonight with more on this gathering and a lot of emotion out there tonight. Nicole.
Yeah, guys, this event began with a solemn procession through the NAU campus. The members of the Delta Chi fraternity, the fraternity that the shooting victims belong to, led this walk throughout the campus with thousands of students joining them along the way. The procession ending here at Old Main. And this whole event really was not only to reflect on the tragic loss of Colin Brew, who was shot and killed 4 days ago, but also to show their support for the surviving victims and for each other, to help them cope and move forward through this tragedy. Several school administrators and school student leaders spoke at today's short program highlighting the strength of the NAU community.
The tragic events of last Friday have left us all in a state of shock. Our hearts go out to the students who were involved and their families. Their lives will never be the same, and for that, I am deeply saddened.
We have hundreds of NAU graduates that are employees of the city of Flagstaff. We love our NAU students. And when NAU is hurt, and NAU grieves, so does the city.
I may only do one because now, at least one of the shooting victims was here among his fraternity members at the event. They've spoken out through social media. Nick Peering saying, quote, "I've been trying to figure out what to say for the past few days, but still am at a loss of words to describe how I really feel. I've always been one to stress the value of life, but never realized how easily it can be stripped from our very hands." One of the school faculty members really summed up the sense and the emotion here of the events today when he said, quote, "We can't go back and change what happened, but we can only move forward and change who we are." Reporting live in Flagstaff, I'm Nicole Garcia, Fox 10 News.
Thank you, Nicole. Police say an 18-year-old student, Stephen Jones, opened fire following a fight between 2 groups outside of a campus fraternity, killing 1 student, wounding 3 others. Jones is being held on a $2 million bond. He's booked right now on 3 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of first-degree homicide in this case. And stick with Fox 10 News for continuing coverage of the latest developments on the NAU campus. We will have all of it going on our Twitter feed and our Facebook pages and on fox10phoenix.com.
Right now, I'm also going to have the evening forecast for you with Christy Siefken.
Your exclusive AccuWeather forecast with Christy Siefken on Fox 10 News.
No comment on this front. The poor guy was scared.
His days might be numbered.
It's true. He looked like he was running
yeah.
pretty fast, though. I'm giving Bambi there some good chance of getting out of town in time. Well, you guys, it's another warm one today, and tomorrow's going to be warm yet again, but I promise this pattern is going to break. You're going to get your sanity back. It's going to feel a little bit more like fall. How about a little bit of rain? We are going to see that in a few days, but first we have to get through another round of warm weather. 96 outside right now. The winds a little bit breezy at Sky Harbor, about 8 miles an hour out of the northwest. The dew point at 50, so we're continuing to get a push of moisture. Part of that is coming off of this low that's just off the San Diego coastline. We're going to be watching that in addition to this area of high pressure that's building in nice warm air. So we're going to see conditions that are above average, well above average today and tomorrow also. Just speaking of that moisture, you'll notice that the lower deserts are seeing pretty high dew points at this hour. 50 for Tucson, 63 for Yuma. We're seeing 50 for Phoenix, and then up into northern Arizona, numbers in the teens and in the 20s. So a little bit drier there. Doesn't feel quite as sticky outside. In terms of numbers, anywhere from low 70s in Flag at this hour to low 70s for Show Low. 98 for Lake Havasu, Yuma at 97, and 91 for Tucson, Douglas at 87 degrees. And then right here in the valley, we're seeing numbers ranging from low 90s in Gateway to mid 90s for Buckeye. Into Glendale, 97, 94 for Deer Valley, 95 for Scottsdale, and Goodyear at 95 degrees as well. So by this time in October, temperatures starting to fall down to about 90. Soon they should be below that, but today a whole 8 degrees above the seasonal norm, even warmer than what we saw yesterday, and we weren't that many degrees off from our record. We would have only had to warm up 3 degrees more to tie the old record of 101 degrees. We set that back in 1989. But check this out for tomorrow. This is when our seasonal norm drops down to 89 degrees. Look at the gap here between where we are going to be and where we ought to be. That's over a 10-degree spread. And as we get into Thursday, it's a little bit better, but it's really not until Friday that we see that significant drop in temperature, those numbers up into the upper 80s. With that, some moisture. We're going to see a chance for rain and thunderstorm activity throughout this period, cooling us off and bringing some much needed moisture as well. The national picture is pretty quiet out there tonight. We are seeing a little bit of activity through the northeast. We'll continue to see some rain there into tomorrow as well, but otherwise pretty mild picture out there. For us in Arizona, we'll see overnight lows like this: 58 Safford, 75 Lake Havasu, 60 for Kingman, 43 Winslow, and 74 for Gila Bend. And then for tomorrow, 100 Phoenix, a little bit warmer than that for Lake Havasu, 78 for the Grand Canyon, 78 for Show Low, and Globe will be at 89 degrees. So for tonight, mid 70s on tap. We'll see triple digits into tomorrow, mostly clear conditions. And then over the next 3 days, gradual cool down. In fact, we could start to see those rain showers as early as Thursday. Better chance, though, it looks like, of getting the rain as we get into your Friday, and that chance for wet weather extending as we make our way into the weekend.
Thanks so much to Christy Siefken. And while I have you in the news zone, oops, I should have phased out of Christy a long time ago, but you got to stare at her for a few more minutes, which honestly, if I were in your position, I'd rather look at Christy Siefken all day too, quite frankly, if we're going to be honest. Here are my top 5 headlines. I would add that Lamar Odom being found unconscious in a Nevada brothel is one of them. The Kardashians are reportedly on their way to be with him, Kim, Khloe, and Kris. So Lamar Odom was found unconscious. Drugs are suspected to be involved. A prostitute found him at a brothel. Is that it? Is that what they're called? Are they called prostitutes? Are they considered prostitutes if they work at a brothel? I don't know another nice way to put it. A lady friend found him at a brothel, yelled for her manager. Her manager called 911, turned Lamar Odom over, and it appeared that he had mucus coming out of his nose and his mouth. There was some sort of substance. Planned Parenthood is reversing their policy on taking money for fetal tissue donations. This was a huge story over the last few months because it nearly shut down the government. You saw Rand Paul give that extreme speech about it, as well as, Trey Gowdy was all over the place talking about it, as well as Ted Cruz. Carly Fiorina had that video. Some people say that the videos could be edited. There are some edited versions out there. For instance, you can look at some of them on John Hook, Fox 10's Facebook page. An aunt sued and lost a $127,000 lawsuit. She was trying to sue her 12-year-old nephew, who was 8 years old at the time, for jumping into her arms, her falling, and her breaking her wrist. She said he should be held accountable, and his mother died only a year ago. A jury of 6 individuals took 25 minutes to determine that that was not going to happen, and she lost that $127,000 suit, and I highly doubt she's going to be invited to Thanksgiving dinner this year. Donald Trump is hosting SNL. We enjoyed Trump throughout the evening, watching his tweets and watching his reaction to CNN's Democratic debate. One tweet we got from him earlier today that stood out to me was, "The arrogant young woman who questioned me in such a nasty fashion at No Labels yesterday was a Jeb Bush staffer. How can he beat Russia and China? Exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point." Okay, I'm exaggerating on the punctuation, but it was in all caps, the last sentence. And we watched that live here on Fox 10 News Now, that woman's reaction to him, hands on hips, very sassy, fought for that microphone. So those are my top 5 headlines for the evening. And I don't know if Mike shared this with you. Why is this happening? Let's see if this is recent. It looks like Mike pulled this for us.
Everyone on that stage has a different goal tonight. Clinton wants to stop her slide in the polls, Sanders wants to scoop up more votes, and the other 3 candidates just want to make America know their names. Hillary Clinton comes into this debate as the front runner.
So I wanted to come by and lend my voice to all of yours.
A Fox News poll out today shows that Clinton still has the lead among Democrats with 45% of the vote to Bernie Sanders' 25%. Followed by Biden at 19% if he gets into the race. That's a 16% slide for her since June and a 10% jump for Sanders. Both Clinton and Sanders have sworn off attacks tonight, unless they're hit first.
Let's treat each other civilly, let's treat each other respectfully, and let's not try to demonize people who may have disagreements with us.
A hit might come from one of the other 3 candidates on the stage who are languishing between 1% and an asterisk in the polls. Former Rhode Island Governor Lincoln Chafee, former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley, and former Virginia Senator Jim Webb.
It won't be a debate attacking each other's personality. It's going to be substance.
A White House spokesman says President Obama will probably watch part of the debate, but not all of it, because there's some pretty good baseball on tonight. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
I like how they always position Obama as like, no, he's too cool. No, he's not going to watch it. He's too cool. I think he probably watched it with bated breath, perhaps with a Fresca in hand. I don't believe that he was too cool to watch it. Rat in the chat room says he lives and breathes politics.
As Hillary Clinton heads to the Wynn Las Vegas for the first face-to-face clash with her Democratic rivals, President Obama raised more questions, telling CBS's 60 Minutes he didn't know she had a private server, calling it a mistake because people in high office need to be more sensitive to perception, though he also went to bat for Clinton, jumping ahead of the results of the FBI's investigation of the server.
It is important for her to answer these questions to the satisfaction of the American public, and they can make their own judgment. I can tell you that this is not a situation in which America's national security was endangered.
The public is not satisfied, according to a pre-debate CBS News poll. 71% of registered voters believe her use of a personal server was not appropriate, up 7 points from March, despite months of Clinton pushback. Yet Republicans have their own trouble after House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy's gaffe about the House Select Committee on Benghazi. Major Bradley Podliska, an intelligence officer in the Air Force Reserve who was a committee aide, told CNN he was fired for refusing pressure to focus on Clinton's email. Republican Chairman Trey Gowdy sharply denies that, insisting, quote, "This committee always has been and will be focused on the 4 brave Americans we lost in Benghazi." Though Clinton allies like Congresswoman Dina Titus note the strife has handed Clinton a gift.
We have said all along that this was politically driven.
Democratic National Committee Vice Chair Tulsi Gabbard was disinvited from Las Vegas after criticizing the party for holding just 4 debates before Iowa and New Hampshire.
Let's transform America. Thank you.
Democratic Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders, who again drew huge crowds this weekend in Tucson and Boulder, said Gabbard can use one of his tickets to the debate, as Vice President Joe Biden spent the weekend in Delaware, still mulling a run. Clinton allies are treating him a bit condescendingly, saying he should instead wait for a job in a new Clinton administration.
I think he ought to just end his career on a high note, like being ambassador to Paris or something.
CNN, which is hosting tomorrow night's debate here at the Wynn, says they've got a 6th podium ready to go if the vice president wants to jump in at the last minute. No signs of that, though one of Biden's top fundraisers told me bluntly, "I think he's in, but sometime after the debate." In Las Vegas, Ed Henry, Fox News.
I love Ed Henry. We are friends on the internet.
Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders get
There are some things I need to point out, though, in that package. I don't know if it's intentional, but Ed Henry has adopted Donald Trump's way of saying huge. Ed Henry now says huge. Huge. He does. And I told him this. Additionally, Joe Biden looks very handsome in his attire here. Just a fact, just something I needed to throw out there, just so we're all on the same page. Let's take a look at Fox News' Facebook page for a reaction on the debate that happened tonight on CNN. Hillary Clinton's response to Carly Fiorina saying mandated paid maternity leave would mean fewer jobs. Hillary's response was, "I know we can afford paid maternity leave because we're going to make the wealthy pay for it." Cool story. Donald Trump's reaction. GOP candidates react during Dem debate. Tune into Fox News channel to see live analysis. Donald says, "Notice that illegal immigrants will be given Obamacare and free college tuition, but nothing has been mentioned about our veterans." Preach. Bernie Sanders said that the illegal behavior of Wall Street helped destroy America's economy. It was wrong to ask the middle class to bail out Wall Street, says Bernie Sanders. This is an interesting one, and I'm kind of with Tess here. Jim Webb answering the Dem debate question, Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter. Every life in this country matters. He also says something else here we go. Jim Webb on guns. We have to respect the tradition in this country of people who want to defend themselves and their family from violence. Very interesting answer. Hillary Clinton's comments on the National Rifle Association. She says, "It's time the entire country stood up against the NRA." This comment here from Brittany. "It's time the entire country stood up to the Clintons." Over 4,000 likes there. Hillary Clinton says, "I'm a progressive, but I'm a progressive who likes to get things done." What do you think of Bernie Sanders' comments on climate change at the Democratic debate? It says, "Climate change is real. It is caused by human activity, and we have a moral responsibility to leave this planet a habitable planet for our children and grandchildren." Oh, and then I guess that's the lady that lost the lawsuit against the 12-year-old nephew for $127,000. Yeah, so those are some highlights from the debate thanks to our Fox News Facebook page. Cool graphics. Glad I stumbled upon those. Interesting comments, too. A lot of people still commenting on the debate in the chat room too. Thank you all so much for your engagement. Thank you for being so involved. And let's see here.
Talking about.
Oh.
Life at
see
its
here.
best is this.
Let's jump into this. This is Lindsey Graham from yesterday. We had a lot of Democrats. Let's have a little bit of a conservative moment here. Can we? This is at the No Labels event that they were all at yesterday. You heard from Donald Trump here. You heard from, oh my gosh, so Bernie Sanders was there. A lot of people made their way to this event. They're saying that they want to strip themselves of labels. They don't want to be considered Republicans or Democrats anymore. People should focus on the policies. And here is Lindsey Graham, friends with John McCain, who you also saw yesterday. It is a very political show lately. I don't know if we'd have it any other way.
You have to learn our language. I don't speak it well, but look how far I've come. You have to pay a fine. You have to pay taxes. You have to get in the back of the line. And you have to wait 10 years for a green card. But here's what I would never agree to. I hate the European model of second-class citizens. If we're going to let you stay here all of your life, we're going to let you be part of the country. How many of you here believe climate change is real?
Just what Bernie Sanders was talking about.
I do too. So here's the trade-off. For those of you who believe climate change is real, you're going to have to deal with a guy like me who will push a lower carbon economy over time in a business-friendly way. The great trade-off is energy producers and environmentalists in a room trying to find, over a 50-year period, a way to go to a lower carbon economy. In the meantime, responsibly exploring for fossil fuels that we own and trying to create alternative energy in every sector of the economy. It is, to me, folks, a problem needs to be solved, not a religion. So our people, to my friends on the left who are making this a religion, you're making a mistake. To my friends on the right who deny the science, tell me why. I'm not a scientist. I made a D in science. You know why? Because she'd never given an F. So, but I've been to the Antarctic. I've been to Greenland. I've been to Alaska, and I've heard from people who live in these regions how the climate is changing. And when 90% of climatologists tell you it's real, who am I to tell them they don't know what they're talking about? So the trade-off is Joe Lieberman, John Kerry, and Lindsey Graham got close, and we had the oil spill in the Gulf. More nuclear power because it's a good job creating a method of energy. It's non-emitting. Exploring for oil and gas in a reasonable way. Pushing low-carbon technologies, having the government involved until we can get a foothold on a lower carbon alternative energy economy, and setting carbon targets that would give America clean water and clean air. Those are the trade-offs. Finally, I'll take questions. There's no foreign policy element to no labels. Should they be? Let me tell you about a group who buys into no labels. Radical Islam is very much into no labels. They look out in this audience and they don't see anything different. And if you spent 2 minutes, you'd see a lot of things different in this audience in terms of liberal, conservative, moderate, libertarian, vegetarian, Baptist, Jew, you name it, we got it. They see us all the same. We're Americans. We buy into the idea of worshiping God the individual way, not the group way, or maybe not at all. We buy into electing our leaders, not having them thrust upon us. We buy into the idea that young women have value. So, here's the thought. If we can't agree that radical Islamic terrorists who crucify children, who sell women into slavery in the name of God, who slaughter everybody in the faith that disagrees with them, who throws gay couples off roofs, if we can't come together and say that we stand united against you, we're making a mistake. So I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, how to solve this problem with terrorism is a bit complicated. Uniting against it should be as easy as wanting to solve the other problems I just described. Let me just say this in ending. 3,000 of us died on 9/11 for one reason. They couldn't kill more of us. If they would, they could. I've never been more worried about another 9/11 than I am right now. The enemies of mankind, not just this nation, are getting stronger and getting more lethal by the day. I hope that no labels could find some accommodation for a foreign policy plank that says the following: America should lead, we should be involved, we should help others deal with a problem common to mankind. And it is more than dropping a bomb. I'm the chairman of the Foreign Operations Subcommittee in charge of all the foreign aid in the federal budget. I believe that the PEPFAR program that Bush created in Africa is making us safer, is making us better. I believe that foreign assistance will do more damage to radical Islam over the arc of time than a bomb. I believe that educating a young poor girl in a remote region in the Mideast is the ultimate antidote to terrorism. I believe that America, at her best, is the hope of mankind. Let us be at our best. Thank you.
Senator, welcome to New Hampshire, Representative Baldessaro. My question to you is, it's a veterans issue, and I know you're a veteran. You've been up there many years. You all passed the Veterans Accountability Act, and a lot of people bragged about it and used veterans as political pawns, and not one person was fired. There's a bill at 1082 on the Veterans Accountability Act where only a few senators have signed on board. My question is, why have you and the Republicans and Democrats come together, they've been up there for years, to fix the VA system where we got veterans dying?
One, thank you for your service. The reform that we did pass with Senator McCain's leadership allows veterans a choice card. If they live over 40 miles from a facility, they can go to a local doctor or hospital. If you wait over 30 days, you can access a local doctor or hospital. In New Hampshire, your local provider is in Vermont. So that was a pretty big deal for people in New Hampshire. But your point is well taken. We're fighting a bureaucracy that's not going to give up without a fight. How about this idea? If you've served your country and you're eligible for health care, give you a card where you can go anywhere you want to go, anytime you want to go. Now, That costs money, but money well spent. But you can't do that unless you deal with entitlements. By 2040, all the money you spend in taxes or send in taxes goes to pay Medicare, Social Security, and interest on the debt. Do you get where I'm coming from? There'll be no money left for the Department of Defense, no money left for the Department of Education, no money left for the VA. If you don't turn around the tsunami of entitlement spending by age-adjusting, means testing, and flattening out the tax code to generate revenue, it is all talk. So count me in for helping the veteran. Count me in for helping the Alzheimer's patient. Count me in for helping people overseas who need our help to reconstruct their lives so they can push back against radical Islam. Count me in for all this, but let me tell you, none of it's going to happen if the next president of the United States can't get us in a room and do something like Simpson Bowles. The crowd's turning on you.
As far as I know, the Constitution requires Congress to declare war. Last time Congress declared war, to my knowledge, is December of '41. We've been in a lot of wars, and we haven't won very many since then. So would you require a congressional declaration of war before we go, and then if we declare war, go to win it?
All right. I think we've declared war 5 times in the history of the nation. The one thing you can't have is 535 commander-in-chiefs. That's not a way to conduct military operations. So the bottom line is, would I seek congressional authorization to use force to destroy ISIL in Syria? Yes, I would. But I don't think I'm required to do so because I think ISIL is a direct threat to our homeland. How many of you believe that ISIL wants to hit us if they could? How many of you believe the #1 job of the President of the United States is to be Commander-in-Chief and protect the homeland? So let me tell you what I would do to destroy ISIL. You're not going to do it from the air. You got to have a ground component. We have 3,500 Americans on the ground in Iraq. General Keane, who's the architect of the surge, says we need about 10,000. The good news is that's a fraction of what we've had in the past. A couple Army aviation battalions with American helicopters flown by American pilots to take the fight to ISIL in Ramadi and Mosul more effectively. Special forces on the ground. If they picked up the phone, they got in the car, we'd be on top of them to disrupt their operations. Forward air controllers to drop bombs on the right people. 70% of the aircraft come back with the bombs on the racks. Trainers at the battalion level so the Iraqis won't cut and run. That's what I would do, and I want you to know that before you vote, that if you vote for me, whatever it takes, as long as it takes till we destroy these bastards, is my view of ISIL. Now, as to Syria, I don't know if there's anybody left to train, but a no-fly zone would be a great relief to the Syrian people. Establishing a place for them to go without being barrel bombed would be a great step. A safe haven enclave to start training people without fear of being killed, having the region buy into what we're doing. The good news is that every Arab country in Turkey is against Assad being in power because he's a puppet of Iran. And the real good news is the Syrian people are not radical Islamists. To say they are is a slander to them. I have been there a lot. And they're not going to accept Assad as their leader because he's massacred their families. So what would I do? I'd ask for a regional force, create an enclave, train the Free Syrian Army more effectively, and support them from a regional point of view. And I would ask Congress to help me, and I would go in with the goal of winning. And when you bring them down, you better stay, because if you leave too soon, it repeats itself again. This is a generational struggle. Syria has been raped and decimated. The amount of money to reconstruct Syria is going to be enormous, but it should come from the entire world, not just us. The Arabs should pay for this war. We paid for the last 2. None of that's possible unless you rebuild your military. We're on track to have the smallest army since 1940, the smallest navy since 1915, We'll be spending half of what we normally spend on defense, 2.3% in terms of GDP by 2021. Given the threats, that's insane. And it's just not the defense budget that's being cut. The NIH budget's being cut. The CDC's budget's been cut. So let's replace these defense cuts, non-defense cuts across the board with more rational ways of getting out of debt, and that goes to entitlement reform and tax code reform. So the answer to your question is that I would seek Congress's blessing, but I would not let a dysfunctional Congress keep me from defending America against an enemy that is surely coming here. And I am fighting to win. Winning is my goal. Destroying these bastards is my goal.
Hi, thank you, Senator Graham, for being here.
Strong letter to follow.
My name is Kyle Osting. I'm the No Labels College chapter leader at Indiana University. Just want to say,
do you know anybody in New Hampshire?
Do I know anybody in New Hampshire?
Yeah, because Indiana's way down the road.
I know, right? I just want to say, as a Republican as well, thank you for running for president and for being a voice of reason in this race. It's much appreciated. A few years ago, Wall Street crashed and they got a bailout, while the middle class still crashed and they haven't gotten a bailout. Today, Wall Street is doing greater than ever. What is your plan specifically to make sure that Main Street gets their bailout, because it's long overdue? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Rather than the government bailing out Main Street, how about creating jobs on Main Street? If you think the government is the salvation of the middle class, don't vote for me. If you think jobs are the salvation of the middle class, vote for me. A little about me. I grew up in the back of a liquor store. This is why I would be a good president for you. My mom and my dad, neither one of them finished high school. They owned a liquor store, a bar, and a pool room. We lived in one room until I was in high school. I was well loved. They worked 6 days a week. It's a hard way to make a living. When I went to college for the first time of anyone in my family. In 1975, after coming back from our first vacation to Disney World, which was like going to Mars, my mom was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease. By June of '76, she had passed. We got wiped out because we were underinsured. 15 months later, my dad dies. I'm 22, my sister is 13. If it had not been for Social Security survivor benefits, we would not have made it. So when I talk about Social Security, I know what I am talking about. I would give up some benefits today. I'm 60, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, I've got a 401k plan, I've got a congressional retirement, I've got a military retirement. I would gladly give up some COLA and shave my benefits to save a system worth saving, so it's there for other people who need it more than I do. To those who worry about the economy, a $15 an hour minimum wage is going to displace people, not grow the middle class. The middle class is somebody who has to not go on vacation when the child's sick. You make too much to be on government assistance, but you still live paycheck to paycheck. Let me end on this note. Competition for labor is the best hope of the middle class. When a bunch of people are wanting to hire you, not a few people. So why did Boeing come to South Carolina? They could have gone anywhere in the friggin' world. Why did Volvo come to South Carolina? Why did BMW come to South Carolina? Because we wanted them to come to South Carolina. We would take your workforce needs, go to the technical colleges, and train a workforce superior to second to none, ready to go, helping you help yourself. We would get permits done in times that you never even envisioned, still being environmentally sensitive. We had a tax structure that welcomed you. There's a reason they came to South Carolina, and let me tell you what happened to the middle class in South Carolina. Everybody who had a manufacturing business had to pay more, because if you didn't, your employee was going to go to Boeing. The best thing I can do for waitresses in this country and waiters is to create an environment somebody else will open up a restaurant across the street and hire you away. I want to take what we did in South Carolina to Washington. I want to unleash the greatest economy in the world. People are more screwed up than we are. We're this far away from energy independence. Manufacturing with the right kind of tax code can bloom. We can take this money parked overseas, bring it back in a one-time good deal in the Highway Trust Fund. We can build roads and we can build bridges. And these technologies you have in your pocket may be made in China, but they were invented here. Our best days are ahead. We're going to lean into our enemies. We're going to hold each other, and we're going to solve problems for the good of us all. Thank you very, very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our next panel, we invite the audience to have a seat at the table. Using Microsoft's Bing Pulse technology, you are able to vote on what you hear. Agree or disagree every 5 seconds to make your voice heard. Go to aka.ms/no-labels and start.
Cool event. I really enjoyed a lot of the speeches we got from that event. And before I let you go, we'll go over my 5. Planned Parenthood reversing. Wait, will we go over my 5? Planned Parenthood reversing their policy on taking money for fetal tissue donations. Lamar Odom, this isn't on my list, but Lamar Odom found unconscious in a Nevada brothel. Kim, Chris, and Chloe are on their way there now to be with him in a hospital. An aunt sued and lost. She sued her 12-year-old nephew for $127,000. He jumped up at her screaming, "I love you," at his 8th birthday party. She fell over and broke her wrist. She said she felt like he should be responsible for her broken wrist, and she attempted to sue him for $127,000. His mother died only a year ago, and a jury of 6 took 25 minutes to determine that she was not going to get that money. A Florida woman was arrested after streaming her drinking and driving escapade on Periscope. Donald Trump is to host SNL next month, and tweeted this happened at this event that we're currently watching. Tweeted, "The arrogant young woman who questioned me in such a nasty fashion at the No Labels event yesterday was a Jeb staffer. How can he beat Russia and China?" So interesting that the woman we watched accost Donald Trump yesterday at the No Labels event does volunteer for Jeb Bush's presidential campaign. I'm Kinsey Schofield. This is Fox 10 News Now. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m.